Even the owner of the water curtain Skyflower GU cannot enter or leave, but my blood curtain Skyflower GU can leave and not enter. Junior brother, attack slowly, use all your strength. When I recover, I will come out and take your head, ha ha ha. You scoundrel, you are boasting shamelessly. Master Tensuru was flustered and exasperated. He had a 90% chance of winning, but to think Gyue managed to turn the situation around, the situation fell into a stalemate again. He attacked crazily and fiercely. All the GU masters outside the barrier, including Xiong Jiaoman, died. But inside the blood curtain Skyflower, everything was calm and tranquil. The blood barrier was as stable as Mount Tai. The GU masters gradually relaxed. The first generation ancestor is truly a hero. We are finally saved. Next, the first generation ancestor will display his might. This person will lose for sure. Huff, this is the strength of a rank 5 GU master. How powerful. I'm actually still alive. Everyone cheered and shouted. But Bai Ningbing snorted coldly. He would die without a doubt because of the 10 extreme limits. This stalemate lost some of its excitement, making him unhappy. Master Tensuru attacked for a long time, but there was no effect. He suddenly stopped his attacks and woke up. First generation Gua's words were to provoke him, to make him waste his Primeval essence on attacking the blood curtain Skyflower. If he was not wrong, this blood curtain Skyflower and water curtain Skyflower had similar effects, but the fusion cost was extremely high. It was a one-time consumable, it had strong defense but had a limited time. Once the duration was over, it would dissipate on its own. Thinking of this, Master Tensuru took out 2 yuan stones and held them in his palms, sitting cross-legged and starting to recover his Primeval essence. Help me, only by helping me will I have a chance to live. Yuan stone, I need a large amount of yuan stone. First generation Gua shouted, and immediately the surrounding GU masters took out yuan stones and piled them around him. First generation Gua opened his mouth and sucked deeply. Yuan stone was sucked into his mouth. He opened his mouth and with a cracking sound, the yuan stone was crushed, and a large amount of natural Primeval essence poured into his aperture. Master Tensuru saw this and became anxious. He shouted, "Don't give him any more yuan stone, you bunch of fools. Once he recovers his mobility, he will kill you and use your blood to refine and raise his aptitude. You're courting death. Using such a low-level tactic to sow discord, aren't you afraid people will laugh their heads off? Quick, this old scoundrel told us not to give any more, we have to give even more yuan stone. Everything depends on first generation Gu. The GU masters generously donated, and large amounts of yuan stone were thrown into first generation Gu's mouth. Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing watched coldly from the side. If it was a normal human body, it would not be able to withstand so much Primeval essence, but his blood-white corpse body was strong and sturdy. The Primeval C in his aperture rose rapidly. Demon suppression iron chain Gu's power became weaker, and after a while, it turned into a pool of blood, completely dying. First generation Gu was no longer restricted, and with a loud roar, he activated blood-white corpse vital GU. Large amounts of smelly blood were attracted and poured into his body. In the blink of an eye, his strong arms grew back, and his claws were sharp like blades. He laughed loudly and stood up. At this time, the bottom flick GU on his forehead also turned into a pool of blood, completely dissipating. Heaven has not forsaken me. First generation Guyue laughed loudly towards the sky. I beseech first generation ancestor to make a move and kill this old scoundrel. With the help of a great lord, he will definitely succeed immediately. He will be invincible. Everyone rejoiced. First generation Gua's laughter gradually subsided, and flames burned in his eyes as he spoke slowly. Of course I want to kill the enemy, but before that, I need to do something. Not good. Fang Yuan heard this tone and his heart jumped, as he moved towards the outside of the crowd without leaving a trace. The people around him did not understand, but were still filled with fighting spirit. I wonder what first generation ancestor wants to do. If it is within our capabilities, we will definitely do our best to serve first generation ancestor. First generation Gua raised his head and laughed. Haha, this matter is to take your lives. What? Everyone turned pale with fright. First generation Guyue attacked brazenly. With a swoosh, he stretched out his claws and pierced through a rank 3 GU master. When he retracted his palm, first generation Gua's hand was already holding a beating heart. This GU master was a Gua clansman, and with an expression of disbelief, he screamed as blood spurted out like a fountain and fell backwards. Good blood, we cannot waste it. First generation Gua laughed and sighed, and with a thought, the blood skull GU flew up and circled around this GU master's body. The GU master's corpse twitched, and all his blood was sucked out by the blood skull GU. Then it entered the blood skull Gu's 2 empty eye sockets. The blood skull GU drank its fill of blood, and on its crystal-like skull, the blood-red lines became even brighter. First generation ancestor, you? Everyone quickly retreated, and someone shouted in shock. Noisy. First generation Gua's figure flashed and appeared in front of this person, slashing with his palm and cutting his body into two. The blood that spurted out was sucked dry by the blood skull GU. First generation, you heartless bastard, you are not our Yuan stone, how can you still have the strength to fight? This first generation is also not a good person, everyone attack together and kill him, that's right, we have strength in numbers, A bloody massacre began. First generation Gua was rank 5 peak stage, and his primeval essence had completely recovered. These GU masters were mostly rank 1 and rank 2, and there were even a few rank 3, how could they be his match? And this blood curtain skyflower isolated the inside from the outside, forming a sealed space. Only its master, first generation Guyue, could go out. But once he went out, he could only destroy the blood curtain skyflower or wait for its effect to run out. The GU masters could neither escape nor fight, so they were quickly defeated and killed one by first gen GUU. Other than Bai and Xiong tribe GU masters, every time he killed a Guyue tribesman, he would use the blood skull GU to suck the blood. After killing hundreds of people, the rank 4 blood skull GU was glistening red, reaching its limit. First generation Gua laughed loudly, summoning the blood skull GU and floating it above his head. This day, this moment, after hundreds of years of planning, has finally arrived. He heaved a long sigh of relief. The blood skull GU opened its tightly shut mouth and spat out a fountain of blood. The blood fountain did not have a fishy smell, but instead emitted a fragrant smell, making people feel relaxed and happy. First generation Guyue was drenched from head to toe by this blood fountain. But this blood fountain was mystical, not a single drop fell on the ground, but stuck to the surface of first generation Gua's body, and slowly seeped in, all the way to his aperture. First generation Gua silently stood on the spot, feeling it for a moment before bursting into wild laughter. Gagagaga, my aptitude has risen, my aptitude has really risen. The other GU masters were all shaken. Chapter 199. Guyu's laughter became even more carefree, but he suddenly stopped and turned to look at Master Tensuru, saying hatefully, "Junior apprentice brother, you never thought this day would come. We are both orphans, adopted by Master, but ever since we were young, Master has always doted on you more. Why? Isn't it because your aptitude is a grade, and mine is C grade? You have a grade aptitude, of course your cultivation progress is fast. Do you know how much more sweat and effort I have to put in to barely keep up with you with my C grade aptitude? Although we are known as the twin cranes of the righteous path, you have always been the leader, and I the second. You are the most dazzling. Just because you are an A-grade genius. But you were lucky, and obtained one of Blood Sea ancestors' true inheritances. Blood Skull GU can kill your kin, purify the blood spring, irrigate the aperture outside the blood barrier. Master
Do you know
Tensuru
how I
was
felt
burning
at
with
that time?
anxiety. This
But
blood
the blood
skull
curtain
GU was my only
like
hope,
a heavenly moat,
the hope that I
making him
yearned for
sigh.
day and night.
He wanted
the
to
hope
stop
that I
it,
tossed
but
and
there was
turned in my
nothing he
sleep.
could do.
With it,
Eventually,
I can change
only
my
a few
life,
people were
change
left
my
inside
fate,
the blood
but
barrier.
that's mine.
Brat,
Mine. You stole
Master
the heavenly
Tensuru
essence
stomped
treasure
his feet
lotus,
and cursed.
right? I'll
Yes,
give you a
it's
chance to
yours.
redeem yourself.
Guyue nodded.
Hand it over
You have good
obediently,
aptitude,
and I'll spare
and
your
good
life.
luck.
First
We set
Gen
off
Guyue
together to
approached
kill the
step by
enemy,
step, but
his
the heaven's
heaven
only
intent firmly
favored you,
locked onto
allowing
Fang
you
Yuan.
to obtain the true
Fang Yuan
inheritance.
knew his chances
Do
of
you know?
survival were slim,
Looking at
but
your
his
smug
smug
expression
expression
and
and
listening
listening
to your words
about
your
the
bullshit
future
can only be
I
used to
suddenly
coax a
understood.
3-year-old child.
The heavens favored
Mate,
you.
if you
Giving
come
you
any
a great
closer,
aptitude
I will
and Blood
destroy
Sea's
the
true
heavenly
inheritance.
essence treasure lotus.
What could I do?
You have to know,
I was just
this
a
C
C
grade
grade.
refined
How
by
could I
me.
succeed
I
by
can make it
myself?
self-destruct
I
with
could
just
only
a thought.
snatch.
Do as you see fit.
What doesn't belong to
First
me
Gen Guyu's
become
footsteps
mine.
slowed.
The heavens
but he
arranged a
quickly
fate for
approached
me
Fang Yuan
to let me
with
be willing to be
determination.
below others.
Brat,
to be
you are
their
very
shadow.
courageous
I
and
am
smart.
not satisfied.
That's
Why
right.
should it be me?
You are my
Why should I
descendant.
be below
I want to
and
take
you are
your blood
above?
to raise my
At this
aptitude,
point,
so I will
Guyue
not let
actually
you go.
started sobbing.
Unfortunately,
The blood white's
back then I
body was
used the blood
extremely
seed
terrifying,
GU to purify
and it let
my
out
descendant's
such a strange
bloodline,
cry,
attempting
making
to create
people
a
feel
descendant
even
of
colder.
Guyu's desolate
Since the heavens
physique.
don't favor me,
As long as
Master
such a
doesn't
genius
love
is
me,
born,
and
I
others
can
don't
take
think
all of
highly
their
of me,
blood and
I'll
raise
have
my
to do
aptitude
it.
to a grade.
I can only love
99%.
myself more.
If
If there
there
is
is
such
such
a
a
genius,
genius more,
I can let
I can
you
only
go,
rely on
but your
myself
luck is
more.
bad.
I can
Humph,
only work harder.
The thing I hate
I
the
can
most
only
in my
take more
life is
risks.
being forced
I can
by
only
others.
work harder.
It's
Only
fine
in
if
this
the
way
heavenly
can I
origin
achieve
treasure
something.
lotus is gone,
But the righteous
but you can
path
die now.
emphasized principles.
Before he finished speaking,
Principles,
the wings on his
friendship,
back flapped,
seniority,
and his body
and
shot out
seniority.
like lightning.
I'm just a
Appearing
nobody.
in front of Fang Yuan
I have no
in an
background,
instant.
no
He
talent,
grabbed with his
and
right
no
hand
resources.
instantly.
What do you
Fang
think I
Yuan's
will
pupils
use to
shrunk.
succeed?
His hair stood
If
on
I
end,
walk the
and he
righteous
quickly
path,
retreated.
I can only
But
be
how could a
exploited
rank
and
5
bullied.
expert dodge
I
so
can only
easily?
look up to you
Just as
young
the ghostly
masters
claw
and
was about to
geniuses.
reach him,
An
an
ice
ice
hand
hand
suddenly
suddenly
appeared
appeared
from the
mold.
side. But my
Bam!
achievements are
With a sound of
insignificant.
collision,
This
the
is
ice
the
hand
righteous
shattered.
path.
Cold air
What
spread everywhere,
bullshit righteous
and first
path.
Gen Guyue took
Only
a step
by
back.
becoming a demon,
By Ning
abandoning
Bing,
human emotions,
Fang Yuan turned
abandoning
around,
the rules of the
looking
world,
at the person
and
who
paying a
attacked.
heavy price.
He was
Will I be
slightly
able to
shocked.
forge a path
By
that
Ning
belongs
Bing
to me in the
retracted his
thorn?
broken arm.
So,
Cold
I
air
plotted
spread
against
around the
you
wound
and stole
and
your blood
instantly
seed
condensed
true
into an
inheritance.
ice hand,
Then,
recovering to
I
its
became
original
a demon.
state.
But it did not turn
Then let
into
me
flesh
become
and
a
blood.
demon.
He was already
Then let
very
me become
close
a
to the
demon.
limit of the
Then
10
let me become a
extremes.
demon.
To think
His
that
voice
I would have such an
reverberated in the blood
interesting way
barrier.
of dying outside
It
the
is a
barrier.
pity that
Master
I will not be
Tensuru
able to
was
see the end of
speechless.
this battle.
First
By
Gen
Ning
Guyue
Bing
held
heaved
back
a
his
long
laughter
sigh
and
then
started
suddenly
to kill
laughed.
again.
A pair of
Large
eerie
numbers
blue
of
eyes
GU
looking at Fang
masters were
Yuan.
killed,
Fang
their
Yuan,
blood absorbed
you and
by
I
the
are the
blood
same
skull
kind of
GU
person.
and condensed
I
into
am
blood
dead for
spring
sure.
essence. If you die
Pouring
too,
it into
it will
first
be
Gen
in Guyu's
pity.
aperture
I
to
will
raise his
protect you.
aptitude.
But I
The
have a
higher the
condition.
aptitude,
Although
the more
by
prime
Ning
val
Bing
essence
was only
could be
rank
stored
3,
in the
he
aperture.
was not far from
First
death.
Gen
His
Guyue
battle
killed
strength
more
was
Guyue
increasing
clansmen,
like a
the
fountain.
higher his
In
aptitude.
the end,
The
after
only one who
chewing the
could hope
Yuan
to win
stone,
against
his
first
prime
Gen
val essence
GU
would be
was
stored
him.
more,
Oh,
and his
what
battle
condition?
strength would increase.
Fang Yuan's eyes flashed. Bai Ningbing stretched out his arms, as if to embrace the world. He wore a white robe and had snow-white hair, his brows slightly raised. Live on for me, and witness the wonders of this world. In an instant, Fang Yuan was moved. This man, Fang Yuan looked at Bai Ningbing, as if he was looking at himself when he was young. Bai Ningbing's words sounded like nonsense, but in fact, they were sincere. Perhaps ordinary people would not believe it, but Fang Yuan understood the deeper meaning behind these words. Bai Ningbing was a top genius, his talent was heaven-defying, but his lifespan was short. He had already found his path, found his belief, he was not afraid of death, but he was reluctant to leave this world. He had regrets in his heart, but in desperation, he could only entrust this remembrance to Fang Yuan. Ayo, it really is the Northern Dark Ice Soul physique. TSK, it's a pity that you're not my bloodline descendant, otherwise everyone wouldn't have to die. First Gen Gu let out a sinister laugh. You want to stop me with just this Northern Dark Ice Soul physique? You are too naive. Saying so, his figure flashed, and when he appeared, he was already in front of Bai Ningbing. Boom! A loud explosion, the two clashed. First Gen Gua retreated 2 steps, Bai Ningbing's entire head and half of his body exploded. But in an instant, catcha, cold air spread, frost condensed, and a new body and head grew out. Bai Ningbing was resurrected. This. First Gen Gua was shocked, the 10 extreme physiques were rarely seen, and this was the first time he fought with one. The two clashed, Bai Ningbing's cultivation was weak, and he was at a disadvantage, the situation was very disadvantageous. But First Gen Gua could not kill him no matter how hard he tried. The Northern Dark Ice Soul physique was now almost immortal, no matter how heavy the injuries were, in an instant, it would be as solid as ice. This made Gua even more furious and fearful, and his attacks became even more frenzied. Bai Ningbing gradually lost his normal color, and turned into an iceman who could move freely. Even her snow-white hair had turned into strands of ice. The time was finally up. Death descended at this moment. Boundless worldly affairs are colorful, the clouds and waterways are long. At this moment, the wind returns to heaven and earth, incomparable to the moonlight in the water. Bai Ningbing chanted, and smiled faintly. From then on, his expression froze. A cold wind suddenly blew, and the frosty air suddenly rose like a mist. Crack, crack, crack. Large amounts of frost spread from his feet, and like a growing mountain, the glacier rose from the ground. The surging white ice was like a dragon beast, like a landslide or tsunami, crushing towards First Gen Gua. First Gen Gua screamed, and resisted with all his strength. The red hair on his head stood up, and blood mist rose from his body. Large amounts of blood guillotine and bladewing blood bat Gu were controlled by him, and crashed into the glacier, slowing it down a little. But in the end, he was still suppressed, imprisoned, and swallowed by the glacier. The huge glacier filled the whole blood barrier, and only around Fang Yuan, Bai Ningbing purposely left a small space for him. Bam! With a soft sound, the blood curtain skyflower was broken by the glacier. Without any obstruction, large amounts of frost energy spread out, and the frost immediately condensed, forming a glacier that spread everywhere. Even the blood curtain skyflower Gu has been broken. Such power! Master Tensuru did not dare to face it head-on, and quickly flew up into the sky. Under his shocked gaze, he saw the glacier spread everywhere, and actually covered the whole of Qing Maro Mountain, from the peak to the foot of the mountain. In the blink of an eye, the originally lush and vibrant Qing Maro Mountain had turned into a treacherous land of ice and snow. The ice under his feet continued to rise, and Fang Yuan also saw this scene with his own eyes. This 1,000-li glacier had witnessed the fall of a young genius, and contained Bai Ningbing's unwilling and helpless sigh. Chapter 200. Fang Yuan immediately activated the Chainsaw Golden Centipede and Blood Moon GU, trying to break the ice. But the ice layer was extremely thick and cold air pervaded the air. For every inch of ice that was shaved off,
only
another 2 inches condensed. Controlling the spring autumn cicada was like a baby playing with a large knife, unable to escape. He might get injured if he did not do it well. Just at this time, a blood light emerged from the bottom of the cicada. I will have to self-detonate. Was only a smear at first. I will use all my cultivation, spread out, my flesh becoming brighter and brighter, and all my other turning into a blood-colored light driving force to push the spring autumn cicada forward. Amidst the laughter, compared to my previous life, soared to the sky, even if I self-detonate, and the first generation force broke out of the ice. Although he was in a sorry likely that I will directly commit suicide if this northern dark ice soul physics I have no other choice. Reaches right I have to use this. He might be able to kill me. Fang Yuan was also helpless. He is only ranked 3 peak stage. He would rather use the stone aperture GU he focused his gaze on Fang Yuan because it was in the glacier. Out of 100, dark ice the success rate might not even be 10%. Then let me do it for you. Many times, in the distant when a GU master uses a high-rank flew over leisurely, they would have to pay the price of a backlash. Iron-beak flying crane like king. Earlier, he flew into the sky to help the iron-beak flying crane king kill the blood river python. Spring-autumn cicada and now he came back with the momentum of victory. Little brat, now hand over your life. Contribute some blood to your ancestor. 3 people lad. Your life is not good. Had already turned into an ice mountain. For meeting this despicable ancestor also dissipating. Let me free you from this. Fang Yuan was like an insect in amber, trapped and Master Tensuru attacked at the same time. Among the 2 rank 5 GU masters to the edge of the first generation Gu's aptitude had increased. Spring autumn cicada essence in his aperture was more. His eyes shone with a strange light. Master Tensuru had also recuperated his body bursting and recovered most of his battle strength. Such an aura. The 2's gazes focused on Fang Yuan. It is actually generation GU wanted to kill Fang Yuan at this moment and take his blood. 2 rank 5 GU masters were extremely shocked the first generation GU. Greedy expressions would not restrict on their faces by protecting Fang Yuan. Take the rank 6 GU. He could only make the first. This is a heavenly opportunity. And kill Fang Yuan. Good lad. Hand it over obediently, and I will tolerate a bystander. Their speed increased. What if both of them were injured, and a third person took advantage of the situation? Fang Yuan let out a long sigh. When he saw the gazes of these 2 people, he seemed to have heard that he was definitely going to die. Masters exclaimed. He had lost the Thunder Legend has it that this world has a long river spider called time. Even if he had humans are like fish in the river. He might not be able to escape the current is rapid. 2 rank almost 5 fish can only go with the flow. He only had rank 3 occasionally stage cultivation 1 or 2 fish and could jump out of the river to a rank 5 looking at the scene downstream. In this situation, foretelling the future. He was like a fish on the chopping block. If not for this river, the world would be completely still, incomparably sharp into a picture. He couldn't fight, everything couldn't escape. The world can become lively, Fang Yuan either declining or flourishing. That was the spring river and autumn cicada. The river water surged. Fang Yuan sent his every drop of water into his was a story. The light film was no longer there. Only a rough in the rapid river water. A large half of the snow silver swimming against the current was still left. It flapped its wings. The stone aperture no longer had the ability to recover true surging waves. But Fang Yuan had the heavenly essence treasure capsizing, which was why his true Fang Yuan's consciousness and memories. None of this was body emitting a faint yellow and green light. Focused all his attention wavered on the GU worm in the middle of the stone in the wind. That was his vital GU. It only managed to swim a small distance. The yellow and green light relying on this GU to go against the flow of the river of time reached its limit. Create another miracle. It turned into an array of light and drilled to change the outcome of fate. Fang Yuan's body shook. This yellow and green light flashed in the depths of his eyes. Firstly, the river of time was a forbidden area of the great Tao. Shuddered. Mortals could not touch it, and memories rushed into his mind. It would be the same as violating the laws of heaven and earth. He was overjoyed. The wrath of heaven and earth. He had been reborn again. Secondly, after realizing the spring-autumn cicada had not scanned his surroundings. It was like a broken boat situation, forcefully crossing the river of time. Primeval essence was being consumed. Halfway and sink. His wrists and body were bound by the white eyebrows. Looking again, oh, so it was at this time. Tai Shuelung's arrangements had already been activated. Guyue's entire body was bound by iron chains, unable to move. There was also a yellow talisman on his forehead. It was the Demon Suppression Iron Chain GU, as well as the Flick Bottom GU. And that Master Tensuru had also landed on the ground, his body covered in a white halo, activating the Raise Eyebrows and Exhale GU with all his strength, attempting to exhaust all the Primeval essence in Guyue's aperture. Fang Yuan squinted his eyes. Right now, he was bound by the white eyebrows and could not move. He could only exhaust his Primeval essence and wait for a good opportunity. Under the effect of the Flick Bottom GU, a yellow light flew out of Guyue's body. This yellow light was bigger than a fist, but smaller than a basin. It slowly floated to the ground, revealing the blood skull GU inside the yellow light. Blood skull GU. After hundreds of years, I finally see you again. Master Tensuru cried tears of joy, his expression extremely emotional. Gyue was so anxious that he gritted his teeth, but there was nothing he could do, he was tied up and could not move. Another yellow light was captured from the yellow talisman, landing on the ground and turning into a black and white Taiji light ball. In this light ball, two peculiar GU worms were circling around each other, chasing each other. It was the yin-yang rotation GU. According to Fang Yuan's memories, Master Tensuru was shouting, "Yin-yang rotation GU, my good senior brother, it must have been hard for you to find such a good GU. Ha ha ha, you actually wanted to turn into a human, what a pity, I ruined it." Fang Yuan looked at Gyue's first generation. Sure enough, he was sitting on the ground, kicking his legs and screaming, his hair was disheveled, he had completely lost his composure. Wait a while more, the time is not far. Fang Yuan's eyes shone with brilliance, he did not make a move. The third yellow light was captured, landing on the ground. It was a scarlet-red GU, translucent like a water ball. Fang Yuan's heart shook. Blood curtain skyflower GU. It was this GU that changed the situation, allowing Gyue's first generation to make a comeback. Blood curtain skyflower GU was developed by Gyue's first generation. Fang Yuan did not recognize it before, but now he was very clear of its characteristics. Sure enough, immediately after, Gyue's first generation shouted, "Someone come quickly, kill this GU worm." Several GU masters heard this and immediately went forward to destroy this GU. Buzz. With a soft sound, blood curtain skyflower reappeared in the world. The blood ball barrier isolated the inside from the outside. A portion of the people were outside the barrier, while the others were inside the barrier. The blood barrier isolated the white brows, and Fang Yuan and the rest no longer fought with Master Tensuru's primeval essence, they were freed and regained their freedom. Master Tensuru was obstructed by this barrier, he staggered to stand up and sneered. After some conversation, he could not attack the blood barrier and could only stop, asking, "What GU is this?" Gyue's first generation said proudly, "Let me tell you, this is my exclusive fusion blood curtain skyflower GU. Water curtain skyflower is only rank 4, it can block rank 5 Gu's attacks. This GU of mine is rank 5, its defense is even stronger. Water curtain skyflower Gu's owner cannot enter or leave, but my blood curtain skyflower GU can leave but not enter. Junior brother, attack slowly, use all your strength. When I recover, I will come out to chop off your dog head, ahaha." Master Tensuru was furious and attacked again, but failed again. After calming down, he chose to replenish his primeval essence and wait for the blood barrier to run out. The GU masters saw that the blood barrier was as stable as Mount Tai and were overjoyed, feeling that their lives were saved, they started to flatter Gyue's first generation. Only Bai Ning Bing snorted coldly. Gyue's first generation asked for a large amount of yuan stone, and everyone generously contributed. Although Gyue's first generation was tied up and could not move, he could chew the yuan stone with his mouth and replenish his primeval essence at an extremely fast speed. Master Tensuru saw this and shouted, "You bunch of fools. Once he recovers his mobility, he will kill you and use your blood to refine and raise his aptitude. You're courting death." Everyone naturally did not believe him. Using such a low-level tactic to sow discord, aren't you afraid people will laugh their heads off? Quick, this old scoundrel told us not to give, we have to give yuan stone even more. Chapter 201. Large amounts of yuan stone were sucked into Gyue's mouth and crushed. Bai Ning Bing looked on coldly. But Fang Yuan moved. He did not look on coldly, but made a different choice from before. First generation ancestor, the situation is critical. I have the heavenly essence treasure lotus to offer. He was full of sincerity as he quickly walked over. His face was full of pity and helplessness, but he also seemed to have made up his mind. First generation Gyue laughed loudly. "Very good. You are indeed my descendant. Such filial piety makes me, your ancestor, happy." He had long wanted the heavenly essence treasure lotus, and had once sent a group of blade-winged bloodbats to kill Fang Yuan. But Fang Yuan had escaped so quickly that he did not give him a chance. But at this moment, he did not doubt it. First of all, he had not shed all pretenses of cordiality. He had once said that he had sent the blade-winged bloodbats to protect Fang Yuan. Secondly, Fang Yuan had taken the initiative to step forward and help White Eyebrow, helping first-generation Guiyue to exhaust his inner Yuan. This had made the hesitant people firm up their minds. Such a loyal and filial act was still vivid in first-generation Guiyue's mind. Finally, the current situation was very clear. Fang Yuan could only place his hopes on first-generation Guiyue in order to defeat Master Tensuru and save his life. First-generation Guiyue did not believe that Fang Yuan would destroy his own strong support and attack him. Therefore, when Fang Yuan walked over, first-generation Guiyue laughed continuously. With the Heavenly Essence Treasure Lotus, my chances of winning will increase by 20%. All of you, move aside and let him in. Heavenly Essence Treasure Lotus? Outside the Blood Shield, Master Tensuru was stunned. He immediately shouted, "You must not." Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Fang Yuan walked to first-generation Guiyue's side. First-generation ancestor, I have thought it through. You were the one who created the Guiyue village. Only because of you can there be juniors like us. In the past, you had such great achievements. Today, you will lead the Guiyue clan to glory. The Heavenly Origin Treasure Lotus should be used by our ancestor. His face was full of admiration, and his tone was full of enthusiasm. Guiyue nodded as he listened, thinking to himself, this young man is quite eloquent, but it's a pity that I still have to kill him for his blood later. But at this moment, Fang Yuan bent down and suddenly attacked. He grabbed hold of Guiyue, and then channeled the strength in his waist. Taking advantage of the momentum, he shook his arms. He opened his mouth and let out a low roar. The strength of two boars burst forth, and with all his might, he fiercely threw. Shua. As soon as Guiyue arrived, he threw him out of the blood barrier. It was a deathly silence. Time seemed to stop at this moment. The wind outside was blowing gently. Guiyue was smashed to the ground, his red hair fluttering in the wind. His expression was sluggish, and he had yet to react. In front of him, less than 10 steps away, was Master Tensuru. This old man was still angry, and anxious about Fang Yuan's contribution of the Heavenly Origin Treasure Lotus. He did not expect that the next moment, there would be such a major turn of events. He was also stunned, and his eyes stared straight at Guiyue. Guiyue was his irreconcilable enemy, but at this moment, Master Tensuru was stunned, as if he was dreaming, and did not move. Inside the blood barrier, everyone was like a statue, silent and motionless. Some people's mouths were wide open, enough to fit a fist. Some people's eyes were wide open, almost popping out of their sockets. Even Bai Ningbing lost her composure, and looked at Fang Yuan with a sluggish expression. Only when a half-destroyed bamboo building inside the blood barrier could no longer hold on, and collapsed, did everyone wake up as if they had been electrocuted. Fuck. Someone opened his mouth and cursed. Fang Yuan, what stupid thing did you do? Someone pointed at Fang Yuan, his whole body trembling. First-generation ancestor. Someone tried to run out and pull Guiyue back, but the blood curtain Skyflower blocked their way. Despicable little thief. How dare you lie to the ancestor? I will pull out your tendons and skin you alive. First-generation Guiyue reacted, lying on the ground, and cursed. Ha ha ha. Among the panic-stricken crowd, someone laughed loudly. It was none other than Bai Ningbing. He laughed until tears came out, and gave Fang Yuan a thumbs up. Interesting, really interesting. Fang Yuan, have you gone crazy? Fang Yuan, you framed the first-generation ancestor, you even schemed against the ancestor, are you still human? Waya, Fang Yuan, you must have been bribed by that white-haired old man. You spy, traitor. Everyone was pointing fingers at him, and the crowd was agitated. Fang Yuan smiled lightly. I am rank 3 peak stage, who dares to kill me? Who dares to kill me? Right now, the rank 3 GU masters in the blood barrier could be counted on one hand, and because of the earlier battle, their Primeval essence was sparse. Yuan stone was also contributed, and could not be replenished. As for the others, they were mostly mortals, or rank 1 or rank 2 GU masters. Without first-generation Guyue, Fang Yuan could indeed look down on everyone in this blood barrier. He. Fang Yuan laughed, and slowly bent down, picking up the 2 GU from the ground. His left hand held the blood skull GU, and his right hand held the yin-yang rotation GU. These 2 GU belonged to first-generation Guyue, but right now, they were covered in a layer of faint yellow light, sealed by the bottom of the talisman GU, and could not respond to first-generation Guyue's desperate calls. But this seal was also an obstacle to Fang Yuan. He needed to undo the seal before he could refine these 2 GU worms. Forcefully breaking the seal would only lead to the destruction of these 2 GU. This situation was different from the Blood Curtain Skyflower GU. To activate the Blood Curtain Skyflower GU, one had to crush it. After breaking the seal, one could use it. But Fang Yuan was not impatient. He knew what was going to happen next. Be it the Demon Suppression Iron Chain GU or the bottom of the Talisman GU, they were both contaminated by the Blood Frenzy GU, and were about to turn into blood water and die. Ha, my good senior brother, to think you would have such a day. Hand over your life. Master Tensuru roared, and rushed to the sky, attacking fiercely towards first-generation Guyue. First-generation Guyue was bound by the Demon Suppression Iron Chain GU, and could not move, becoming a human target, and could only passively take a beating. He cursed in pain, and struggled with all his might. Suddenly, the iron chain turned into a pool of blood water, and he regained his freedom, flying towards the blood barrier. There was a loud bang. Without a doubt, he was blocked by the blood barrier. This Blood Curtain Skyflower GU was personally refined by him, and was his proudest invention. It had outstanding defense, and once used, it could not be moved, and could not be closed. To him, it could only be used, and could not be entered. Little bastard, you will die a horrible death. First-generation Guyue's grievance, and his hatred towards Fang Yuan, could not be washed away no matter how much water he poured into the heavens. Master Tensuru naturally chased after him, laughing madly. First-generation Guyue could only give up on the blood barrier, and turn to resist Master Tensuru. He had chewed large amounts of Yuan stone earlier, and had considerable Primeval essence. Although he was at a disadvantage, he could stabilize his footing. First-generation ancestor, do your best. First-generation lord, we will cheer for you. Ancestor, you are our only hope. The battle between the 2 rank 5 experts attracted everyone's attention. Fang Yuan retracted his gaze, and looked at by Ning Bing. The current situation was like a battle between 2 tigers, and he, Fang Yuan, was only a rabbit. Whether it was Master Tensuru, or first-generation Guyue, they were all sly and cunning people. The possibility of both of them being injured, and him gaining an advantage, was too small. No one was stupid, and neither of them were hot-headed because of a fierce battle. Moreover, this blood barrier could only provide temporary safety. Once the blood barrier's effect wore off, everyone inside, including himself, would definitely be killed by first-generation Guyue and Master Tensuru. He had just been reborn once, and the spring-autumn cicada was once again in a weakened state, and could not be used again. The only thing he could do now was to strengthen himself as much as possible. He would do his best to fight for a chance of survival. Fang Yuan already had a plan in mind. But in this plan, there was one person who played an important role. This person was by Ning Bing. The self-destruction of the Northern Dark Ice Soul physique would be a huge influence on the battle. Especially when the 2 strong people outside the blood barrier continued to exhaust each other. But how could he persuade Bai Ning Bing? Fang Yuan looked at Bai Ning Bing, and Bai Ning Bing felt it, and also looked back at Fang Yuan. In the crowd, they looked at each other. Fang Yuan was dressed in a black robe, with black hair and black eyes, and the corners of his mouth curled up, revealing a demonic smile. I have a temporary solution to the 10 extremes, and can bring you back to life. He said his first sentence. Bai Ning Bing's body shook. Of course he wanted to live. What method? Fang Yuan changed the topic, but this method's success rate is not high, and has a high chance of failure. But these words made Bai Ning Bing even more convinced. Immediately after, Fang Yuan said his third sentence, only to hear him say, "But I think even if you fail, it will make your final moments incomparably exciting." Bai Ningbing's heart thumped. Fang Yuan used 3 sentences to strike the deepest part of his heart, and convinced him. He was a smart person, and after thinking for a while, he asked, "Then what do I need to do?" Fang Yuan's smile widened, and at this moment, the core-sucking Jiyu also turned into a pool of blood water. The blood skull Jiyu and yin-yang rotation goose seals disappeared, and just as they were about to fly away, Fang Yuan grabbed them tightly. He used the spring-autumn cicada's aura, and these 3 Jiyu were only rank 4, and immediately submitted. Fang Yuan poured his prime val essence into them, and instantly refined them for his own use. What's going on? Damn it. Outside the blood barrier, Guyue's head hurt, and he lost connection with the blood skull Jiyu and yin-yang rotation Jiyu. He was incomparably shocked, and immediately lost his composure. He charged towards the blood barrier. "How can this be? How can you refine my 3 Jiyu so quickly?" Guyue let out a miserable howl, and crazily attacked the blood barrier. Fang Yuan snatched food from the tiger's mouth, and snatched the blood skull Jiyu and yin-yang rotation Jiyu. This was simply taking his life. Everyone was shocked, and took a step back. First-generation Guyue was like a beast in a desperate situation, and his eyes started to spew fire. But soon, Master Tensuru attacked. "I want you to die, I want you to die." First-generation Guyue went berserk, attacking without defending, and vented all his anger on Master Tensuru. Master Tensuru was shocked, and suffered a heavy blow. Both sides tangled together again, and the battle entered a white-hot stage. Fang Yuan laughed loudly, and said to Bai Ningbing, "Follow me to kill." Before he finished speaking, he attacked resolutely. The chainsaw golden centipede roared madly, and cut a Jiyu master beside Fang Yuan in half. Blood Skull Jiyu. Chapter 202. Fang Yuan, what are you doing? Quickly stop, the enemy is right in front of us, how can there be internal strife? Quickly stop, or else. Everyone was shocked. Fang Yuan was ruthless again, killing another clansman. www.see read.net. I will only kill GUU clansmen, those who are not involved, step down, otherwise, I will slaughter all of you. Fang Yuan roared. Everyone was shocked and retreated. They did not expect Fang Yuan to be so crazy. Fang Yuan has gone crazy. He has lost his mind, let's attack together. That's right, if this continues, we will not be able to wait for the first generation to defeat the enemy, we will all be killed by Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was like a hornet's nest, the crowd was agitated, but no one dared to attack immediately. Many people were roaring and shouting. Ha ha ha, interesting. Bai Ningbing suddenly laughed, and suddenly attacked, killing someone beside him. Lord Bai Ningbing, you. The person who died was a Bai clansman. Not good, Lord Bai Ningbing has also gone crazy. Everyone was shocked. Fang Yuan's gaze focused as he looked at Bai Ningbing. He did not expect him to have such a change. Bai Ningbing laughed maniacally. Since you can kill clansmen, I will naturally not be weaker than you. His aptitude rose by another 10%. Since the situation is already over, no matter what the result is, the casualties are too heavy. 5. By village can no longer be a village, and a grade at 6 or 7. The only clan leader who has helped me is also dead, so I might as well kill him as well, for the fun of it. But my cultivation has fallen. Fang Yuan opened his eyes, his gaze figure flashed as he began his massacre. Aptitude rose to be great, were going to die anyway, his cultivation so he might as well let them die in his own hands. It was increased the aptitude of Fang Yuan generation, and not Gue's the cultivation did not fall. How could these people in the blood barrier be a match for Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing's combined forces? This is troublesome, especially Bai Ningbing. It should be the stone aperture GU. His strength was very strong, and he killed many more than Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan stabbed him from behind to squeeze out his aperture's potential. After killing 100 cultivation to rise to rank 3 reached its limit, but the surface of the crystal skull irrigated the blood spring essence, Fang Yuan increasing the aperture's potential and raising the Fang Yuan's aptitude above his head. Without a doubt, the skull opened its mouth and spat out a mouthful of fragrant blood, but the blood skull drenching Fang Yuan from head to toe. While the stone aperture Fang Yuan enjoyed this. He breathed in deeply and enjoyed everything. Stone aperture GU. He had black hair and a black robe, and his entire body was bathed in blood. He was like a devil from hell that had come into being. Was also disappearing. When the surrounding people started to reduce Fang Yuan's out of their wits and howled miserably. Fang Yuan did not expect such a change in such a short period of time. Fang Yuan's aptitude was originally getting stronger and stronger. But because of the man-beast life burial GU, Fang Yuan did not have to worry and did not take the initiative to attack. Blood spring had continuing to take his body and filled his bloodline. His outside the blood barrier, Gua's generation reached 53% being slaughtered, and it really is a good treasure, roaring continuously. No wonder Gua treasures it as much as his own life. He had inherited his bloodline opened and waited for hundreds of years, wanting to kill his own bloodline to raise his aptitude. The two of them stirred up a storm of blood within the blood barrier. It was all for someone else's benefit. Fang Yuan, this kid, you crazy bastard, ruthless at such a young age. Coldly rushed over. His demonic nature is even deeper than his ancestors. Then raised the chainsaw golden centipede saw this and was inwardly shocked. The young girl was split into two. Continued. Fang Yuan, 4 to 6 hours later. We are your uncle Fang Yuan's cultivation fell to rank 1 and his wife knelt on the ground, but his aperture returned to light membrane. Fang Yuan able to recover and waved his left hand. He had drenched himself in blood for close to 10 times, fell to the ground. And as time went on, the blood skull became worse. Took the blood of Gua's the first 2 to 3 times it into a blood still a 10% increase, watering Fang Yuan the end. It increased by a few points. Fang Yuan closed his eyes and breathed deeply from the original C-grade flow of air flowing through his body, making him feel refreshed and rejuvenated. Is a grade aptitude. In my 500 years of my previous life, I relied on luck to raise my C-grade aptitude to B grade after 200 years. To think that this was a blessing in disguise, directly raising my aptitude to a grade. Fang Yuan clenched his fist, inwardly excited. Bai Ningbing stopped killing and walked over. What should we do next? Inside the blood barrier, only the two of them were left. The others, be they GU masters or mortals, were all killed. Outside the blood barrier, no one was spared from the shockwaves of the battle between the two rank 5 experts. In the entire battlefield, only the 2 people inside the blood barrier and the 2 people outside were left. Fang Yuan cast his gaze outside the barrier, speaking leisurely. Next, we just have to wait for Gua's generation to escape, and the blood curtain skyflower disappearing. And then? Bai Ningbing asked. And then? Fang Yuan turned his body and glanced at Bai Ningbing, smiling, and then you can die. Bai Ningbing was stunned. Oh, what do you mean? Soon after, his eyes narrowed into a line, his eerie blue pupils hiding a dangerous killing intent. The Northern Dark Ice Soul Physique's self-detonation is very powerful. Although your cultivation is low and the chances are not high, you can fight against a rank 5 expert. When you self-detonate, you can control the direction of the frost, right? Fang Yuan smiled. How would I know? Bai Ningbing's lips twitched. I never self-detonated. I know, you can do it. Fang Yuan laughed heartily, patting his chest. Uncontrollably, the scene of Bai Ningbing self-detonating appeared in his mind. And that sentence, live on for me, witness the wonders of this world. I will stay by your side. After you self-detonate, when the time is right, I will save your life and bring you back to life. Fang Yuan said. What if you don't save me then? He. Fang Yuan smiled indifferently, then you need to take a gamble. When you self-detonate, I will always be by your side. If you doubt my sincerity, you can release the ice tide at any time to kill me. I believe you have already felt it. That's right, my cultivation has already fallen to rank 1 beginner stage. At that time, I will not have any power to resist. But if you believe me, then I might be lying to you, and I will not bring you back to life in the end. In fact, I might not even have the ability to revive. So you have to take a gamble. What you choose not only depends on what you think now, but also what you think before you die. Bai Ningbing was silent. Fang Yuan's words made him take a gamble. Actually, wasn't Fang Yuan also taking a gamble? He used his life as a wager, and it all depended on what Bai Ningbing thought. Hehe, so exciting, so interesting. Then I can only take a gamble, haha. After a while, Bai Ningbing raised his head and clapped his hands as he laughed. Fang Yuan ignored him and focused on the battle outside the blood barrier. As he expected, Gen 1 Gua was at a disadvantage, and was completely suppressed by Master Tensuru. Although he had replenished his Primeval essence, he had less Primeval essence with every use. In a protracted battle, how could he compete with Master Tensuru in terms of consumption? Moreover, Master Tensuru had already figured out his methods, and would not let Gen 1 Gua easily turn the tables. This is really infuriating. After a while, Gen 1 Gua howled to the sky. Little thief, you ruined my 100-year plan. I will let you off for now, but I will definitely kill you in the future to vent my hatred. After saying this, Gen 1 Gua flapped his wings and flew towards the horizon, escaping from the battlefield. Don't go. Master Tensuru immediately turned into a light and chased after him. Without the sound of their fierce battle, the battlefield immediately quieted down. This was a good opportunity to leave, but the blood barrier Skyflower became a huge obstacle. After about 4 hours, the blood barrier gradually thinned and was about to disappear. However, at this moment, a white light flew from afar and turned into Master Tensuru. He was injured, and the wound extended from his left shoulder to his waist. It was so deep that bones could be seen, and purplish-red poisonous blood flowed out. However, Master Tensuru was in high spirits, and he was filled with the joy of avenging his great hatred. He held a head in his right hand, and it was disheveled and bloody. It was Gen 1 Gua. He actually killed Gen 1 Gua? Bai Ningbing revealed a surprised expression. Fang Yuan laughed. Looks like this old man really hates Gen 1 Gua. He must have paid a heavy price for killing Gen 1 Gua. As they spoke, the blood barrier completely disappeared, and the two no longer had a barrier. Little thief, quickly hand over those 2 GU. I am in a good mood now, so I can spare your lives. Otherwise, when this blood barrier disappears, I will make you die without a burial ground. Master Tensuru floated in the air and looked down arrogantly, laughing loudly. Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing looked at each other and smiled lightly, but did not speak. Master Tensuru was furious. Good lad, refusing a toast only to drink a forfeit, you deserve to die. Before he finished speaking, he turned into a white light and pounced forward. Bai Ningbing laughed boldly and took a big step forward. I was waiting for you. Saying so, his skin lost all color, and he turned into an ice sculpture. A cold wind suddenly rose, whistling and sweeping. Frost spread, and endless glacier rose. Chapter 203. Bam bam bam. The glacier cracked as Master Tensuru attacked. In a blink of an eye, he had almost reached the surface of the ice layer. "We cannot let this old man escape," Fang Yuan shouted. Bai Ningbing could no longer speak. He resolutely self-detonated an arm, turning it into a vast frost wind. The wind blew and the glacier spread, rapidly increasing the thickness of the ice layer by 100 feet. Master Tensuru roared in the ice, attacking crazily. Bai Ningbing self-detonated his arm again. The glacier pressed down again and again, suppressing Master Tensuru's attempts to break through. Under Bai Ningbing's special manipulation, the frost was like an army, firmly surrounding Master Tensuru. Although Master Tensuru was rank 5, after killing first-generation Guyue, he was also at the end of his rope. He charged forward again and again, but was still trapped in the ice. "It is actually the Northern Dark Ice Soul physique. But if you want to kill me with just this, you are dreaming," he finally realized, activating the life-retaining Jade Burial GU. A green jade light shone, enveloping his whole body. Next, the light turned from illusion to reality, turning into a transparent jade coffin, firmly protecting him. The jade coffin was extremely sturdy. Bai Ningbing tried many times, but to no avail. Finally, he could only deepen the ice layer around the jade coffin, forming an ice mountain that was hundreds of feet tall. Fang Yuan had been concentrating on observing the entire process. As expected of one of the 10 extreme physiques, even though it was the second time, he could not help but exclaim in admiration. He was beside Bai Ningbing. At this moment, Bai Ningbing's arms were all gone. He had turned into an ice sculpture. Even his face was starting to blur, gradually covered in frost. Everything was on the surface. His consciousness was gradually dissipating. Once it dissipates, he would truly die. Seeing the ice layer around him starting to spread towards him, Fang Yuan was clear. Relying on himself, it would be extremely difficult to escape. Sooner or later, he would be sealed in the glacier and freeze to death. "It is time." Immediately, he took out a pair of GU worms from his aperture. These two GU worms, one emitted black light, the other emitted white light. They chased each other and formed a Taiji light sphere. It was the yin-yang rotation GU. "Go!" With a thought from Fang Yuan, the black glowing GU immediately flew out and entered Bai Ningbing's ice sculpture. Although Fang Yuan was rank 1, he had a large amount of rank 3 snow silver primeval essence stored in his aperture. Almost all of it was used to activate the GU worm. In an instant, black light soared into the sky. Yin Qi gathered and formed a vortex in the air. A brand new life force brewed within the ice sculpture and continued to flourish. The dazzling black light dissipated, and the ice sculpture made a cracking sound. Its surface cracked into pieces and scattered down. Bai Ningbing was still in her white robe and silver hair. Her arms were still intact. Her features were picturesque, and her cheeks had a cute blush as she broke out of the ice. The ice tide stopped abruptly, and the cold air dissipated in an instant. The layer of ice around Fang Yuan had spread to only a few inches away from him. He had narrowly escaped death. "I actually came back to life." Bai Ningbing was rather shocked. She looked at her own lily-white hands and touched her entire body. She was filled with disbelief and ecstasy. "He. Fang Yuan laughed heartily. "I used the yin-yang rotation Guzian GU on you just now. This GU can use yang to give birth to yin, allowing you to be reborn and become a new person. It is a rank 4 healing GU and has the effect of reviving the dead. But it has a flaw. Once it is used, the GU Master's aptitude will drop by 10%. Bai Ningbing originally had the 10 extreme physique, which meant she had 100% aptitude. Now that it dropped by 10%, she was on par with Fang Yuan and had 90% aptitude. But this news might be a nightmare to others. But to Bai Ningbing, it was good news. "This feeling is great. My aptitude has dropped, and I no longer have the Northern Dark Ice Soul physique. Haha, so what if it's 90%? She laughed loudly. Fang Yuan, however, shook his head. "It is very hard to change the 10 extreme physique. Although this method has lowered your aptitude, as long as you continue to cultivate, your aptitude will continue to recover. One day, you will return to the Northern Dark Ice Soul physique. At that time, You will need the remaining Yang GU. It can allow you to turn around again and lower your aptitude by another 10%. Saying so, Fang Yuan ignored Bai Ningbing's fixed gaze on the Yang GU and kept it in his aperture in front of her. The yin-yang rotation GU in this world only work in pairs. You have already used the yin GU, so you must use the yang GU in my hands for it to have any effect. Using other yang GU will not have any effect. Don't think of snatching it. This yang GU has already been refined by me. With a thought, I can make it self-destruct. Fang Yuan said casually. Right now, Bai Ningbing was still a rank 3. He was only a rank 1, so he naturally needed a method to make Bai Ningbing hesitate and unable to deal with him. So that's it. Fang Yuan, you are really good at scheming. Bai Ningbing heaved a long sigh. What do you want me to do to get the yang GU? He. Fang Yuan laughed for a while before saying seriously, this Qing Maro mountain has already turned into an ice mountain desolate region. The 3 great clans and countless living beings are all frozen under the ice. In 3 to 5 days, they will all die. Such a phenomenon will definitely attract the attention and exploration of many people. Moreover, that old guy is not dead, he is sealed in the jade coffin, waiting to escape. We cannot stay on this Qing Maro mountain anymore, we must leave this place. What about me? I only have rank 1 cultivation now, and my GU worms are not complete yet, so I cannot roam the world alone. In this situation, I will have to rely on your strength. The world is so big and exciting, and Qing Maro Mountain is only a small corner of it. If you follow me to roam the world, it will be exceptionally exciting. So that's it. You've really arranged everything properly. Bai Ningbing gritted her teeth, her heart filled with happiness and surprise, but she was also somewhat helpless. But Fang Yuan's suggestion was exactly what she wanted. I can agree to it. But there is one thing I need to be clear about. What is it? Fang Yuan asked. It is not me following you, but you following me to roam the world. Bai Ningbing's red lips curled up, laughing proudly. Ha ha ha. Fang Yuan laughed heartily. Then, where are we going next? What do you think? Bai Ningbing asked. By Jiu Mountain. Fang Yuan answered, laughing continuously. What are you laughing at? Is it so funny? Bai Ningbing did not understand. Fang Yuan laughed until tears came out. You still haven't noticed anything wrong? What's wrong? Bai Ningbing raised her eyebrows, her expression suddenly becoming extremely interesting. Surprise, fear, confusion, panic, shock, anger, all these were tangled up on her face. She looked at her full and round chest, shouting, how did I become a woman? Her voice reverberated in Qing Maro Mountain, shaking off a few snowflakes. That's for sure. Yin-yang rotation GU, if the yin GU is used on a male body, it can turn yang into yin, becoming a woman. If the yang GU is used on a female body, it can turn yin into yang, becoming a man. Yin-yang rotation, yin-yang rotation, what did you think it was? Fang Yuan said matter-of-factly. Fuck. Bai Ningbing stared angrily at Fang Yuan, cursing angrily. This time, she had to get that one and only Yang Jiu. Brother Bai, don't be impatient. Being able to survive is already a great fortune. Fang Yuan consoled. Great fortune my ass, why don't you try turning into a woman? Bai Ningbing's angry roar reverberated in the snowy mountains and glacier. 2 days later. The sun hung high in the sky, the ice and snow melted, and a clear spring flowed on the iceberg. Catcher, the ice cracked, and a jade light soared into the sky, hovering in the air and turning into a jade coffin. With a bang, the jade coffin exploded, and Master Tensuru let out a long howl, seeing the light of day again, regaining his freedom. This life-preserving jade burial GU was a rank 5 GU, and was extraordinary. As long as the GU master had a breath left, it could preserve his life and delay his injuries. Not only that, the jade coffin that was formed was extremely sturdy, and could be called a powerful defensive weapon. Damned thief! He cursed in a voice that was both angry and impatient. Although he killed his lifelong enemy, Gyue, he did not take back the Blood Sea true inheritance. How would he explain it to his sect when he returned? In his memory, the ice cave where Fang Yuan was in had already been broken. I hope he did not go far. He inspected the surroundings, hoping for luck. He used his GU to scout, and found that there were still many remnants of life in the depths of the ice layer. Life was tenacious, and could often create miracles. This glacier had only been covered in snow for 2 days, not enough time for all the life forms to die. Found it. To think he actually hid here. The most dangerous place is the safest place. So crafty. Master Tensuru's body suddenly shook as he found something, and was pleasantly surprised. He rushed into the ice layer, and soon, he fished out an ice cube. Inside the ice cube, Fangzheng's body was covered in a layer of moonlight. It was the moon raiment. He was already on the verge of death, and he only had 1 breath left. Master Tensuru swore that he would never forget Fang Yuan's appearance for the rest of his life. However, he was a rank 5 expert after all, and when he saw Fangzheng, he was immediately disappointed. This person is not him, it's just that they look alike. Sigh. He sighed deeply, and suddenly, he was stunned. Wait a minute, they look so alike, it's very likely that they are twins. In that case, he is that thief's close relative. Master Tensuru's blurred eyes suddenly emitted a sharp light. With his close relative in hand, he could refine the kinship bloodworm. It was because of the rank 5 kinship bloodworm that he could find Gyue's generation in this vast world, among all the living beings. I did not completely fail the sect's mission. There is still hope. This lad is my only hope. I must save him. Fangzheng opened his tired and heavy eyes, and woke up with difficulty. Where is this? His eyes were blurry, and he could only see a blurry figure in front of him. At the same time, his whole body was sore, and he had a splitting headache. His last memory was in the wilderness of the 3 clans competition. The sky was filled with iron-beak flying cranes, and everyone around him was running away. He was wearing the moon raiment, but he was surrounded by flying cranes. In the midst of the battle, a flying crane pecked at his forehead. He fainted immediately, and rolled down the cliff. You are the old man on the back of the crane? When he saw the person in front of him clearly, Fangzheng was so shocked that he struggled to get up, but he fell down halfway. Lad, you still want to run away in front of me, Master Tensuru? Master Tensuru stroked his beard and sneered. He looked at Fangzheng from head to toe, and said, speaking of which, I am your savior. If not for me, you would have frozen to death. I advise you not to move recklessly, don't blame me if you fall down. Fangzheng looked around him, and was instantly shocked. The surrounding clouds were floating, and he was lying on the back of the giant crane. He was high up in the sky, and he was walking in the sky. Who are you? Where are you taking me? Fangzheng exclaimed. I am Master Tensuru, and I naturally have to return to Central Continent. Central Continent? Fangzheng shouted in shock. Chapter 204. Yellow Dragon River, southern border's 3rd largest river, was over 8,000 kilometers long, originating from Huanghua Mountain, flowing through Xianming Mountain, Gui Bei Mountain, Qingmao Mountain, Baijiu Mountain, Leisi Mountain and others, finally flowing into the sea. If one looked at the entire southern border from a bird's-eye view, the Yellow Dragon River was like a character, passing through more than half of the southern border's area. The character roared and stirred up the sand, the waves were grand and majestic. Splitting the shore, piercing through the gorge, shocking the earth, bringing the clouds and spitting out the mist into the sky. The Yellow Dragon River's current was rapid, the yellow water surging. The fish, turtles, snakes and mussels in the river were full of vitality. At this moment, on the river surface, a bamboo raft was tossed about in the waves. This jade-green bamboo raft was tattered and full of scars. In the middle of the bamboo raft was a simple mast, with a white tattered sail. There were resources piled around the mast, stabilizing the center of gravity. The bamboo was tied up with hemp ropes. Some places were tied up again and again, evidently on the river surface. They had been urgently processed many times. The river water surged forward, the bamboo raft rode the current, drifting with the waves. Every time the river water slapped, the bamboo raft would emit sounds of being unable to bear the heavy load.
After 5 days,
one's heart skip
they
a
were
beat.
already very close
on this
to
bamboo
Baiju
raft
Mountain.
that seemed like
In
it
his
could fall
memories,
apart at
there
any
was a
time.
hidden inheritance
There were two
in
youngsters.
Baiju Mountain.
One
It
was a
was
young
set up
man
by a pair
with an
of righteous
ordinary
rank
face,
4GU
wearing
masters,
a black robe,
waiting
black
for a
eyes
fated
and
person.
black hair.
I did
The
not
other was a
personally
young girl,
experience
wearing a
Baiju
white
Mountain's
robe,
inheritance
blue eyes
in my
and
previous
silver
life.
hair,
I
looking
only
like
heard
an
about
immortal.
it.
But
But
it
it
is
is
said
said
that in
and
this
by Ning
inheritance,
Bing,
there are
ever
some
since the
rounds that
battle on
require
Qing
two
Maro
people to
Mountain,
work
Bai
together to
Ning
pass.
Bing self-detonated
Fang
the
Yuan
northern dark
secretly
ice salt
glanced at
physique,
Bai Ning
trapping
Bing as
Master
he thought of
Tensuru
this.
temporarily.
Although he was
They
traveling
spent a
with
lot
Bai
of
Ning
effort
Bing,
to break out
it
of
was
the
only
ice,
because of the
cut down the
situation
green
and
spear
the pressure
bamboo,
of a strong
and after
enemy.
building this
He
bamboo
himself
raft,
was only
they
rank 1
immediately
initial
escaped.
stage.
Fang
Fang
Yuan's
Yuan's
thousand-li
thousand-li
outside
outside spider
world
was already
Moreover,
dead, while
Bai
Bai
Ning
Ning
Bing
Bing
had
had
become
become
a
a
girl,
mortal snake
and
had
he
flown
had the
away
young
earlier
Ji-Yu
with no
It
news
was the
of it.
same as having a
The
hold
two
on
did
her
not have
greatest
Ji-Yu
weakness,
worms to travel
forcing
on,
her to
relying on their
compromise.
own strength.
If they really
Their speed
entered
was
Bai
too
Ji-Yu
slow,
Mountain,
and would definitely
they
be able
chased
to
by
work
Master
together.
Tensuru.
This was a
Thus,
huge problem.
Fang Yuan had
Bang.
no choice but
Suddenly,
to use this method.
a muffled sound
Yellow
could be
Dragon
heard.
River had a
Not
tributary
good.
at
The
Qing Maro
rope fell
Mountain.
off again.
Back then,
This sound
rank
was
5
too familiar
rivers
to
swallowing
Bai
Ning
Ning
Bing
Bing.
followed the
She
main river
immediately
channel
cried
of Yellow
out in
Dragon
alarm.
River and
The river
accidentally
water was
landed at the
extremely
foot of
strong,
Qing Maro Mountain.
and in these 5 days,
From the
it
tributary,
had broken the
the
rope
bamboo
binding
raft
the bamboo
entered the main
many
river.
times.
Following
But
the river,
fortunately,
it travelled
Fang
more than
Yuan had made
1,000
ample
miles in a day.
preparations before he set
Naturally,
off.
its speed
Quickly
was
get the
extremely
rope.
fast.
I will handle this
It's
for
already
now.
been 5
Fang
days.
Yuan quickly
Looks like
squatted
that
down
old
and
man
used his
won't be
hands to
coming.
hold the area
Fang
where the
Yuan
rope had
stood on the
split,
bamboo
preventing
raft
the
and
terrible
looked behind him
situation
as he
from
muttered.
worsening.
The
The river
bamboo
water
raft's
was
speed
extremely
ultimately
strong,
not
and
faster
holding the
than the
bamboo
Iron
raft
Beak flying
required a
Crane
lot
King.
of strength.
However,
Bai Ning
the Iron
Bing
Beak
was far
flying
from
Crane
being able
King
to
was a
handle
beast
it.
after all,
Only Fang
so it
Yuan,
needed
who
to
had the
rest.
strength of 2
It
boars,
couldn't
could
be
do
compared
it.
to the bamboo
Fortunately,
raft,
this
which
situation
relied on the
had
flow
happened
of the
many
water
times
to
before,
stretch on
and
endlessly.
Bai Ning Bing
The
had
longer it
experience
took,
in dealing
the
with it.
safer Fang
Quickly
Yuan
fetching
would
the
be.
rope on the bamboo
Moreover,
raft's simple
Fang
mast.
Yuan remembered that
Coming,
after Master
coming,
Tensuru
she
killed
quickly
Guiyue,
came over
he came
and
back
handed
alone.
over the rope.
The Iron Beak
Fang
flying
Yuan
Crane
quickly
King
fetched
was most
it and
likely
quickly
dead.
tied it,
Bai
sweating
Ning Bing
profusely
glanced
as
at
he wrapped
Fang
several
Yuan.
ropes.
Although
Barely
she couldn't
managing
hear
to
the
hold the
contents
raft
of
in
Fang
place.
Yuan's words,
The bamboo
she knew what
raft
Fang
is already
Yuan meant.
badly damaged.
She laughed.
According to this situation,
What's there to worry
it can only
about?
last for one
If
more
that
day.
old thing chases
After
after
one
us,
day,
we
we
can
will
just
have to
turn
reach
around
the
and
shore.
fight to the death.
Fang Yuan
The
sighed.
battle on this
The
Yellow Dragon River
will
will
be
not
very
safe,
exciting,
and there were many
but
dangers
if we
hidden
die
in the
here,
surging river
we might end
water.
up as food
If
for
the
the fishes
bamboo
and
raft
prawns.
collapsed in the middle of the river,
This is quite
Fang
interesting.
Yuan and Bai Ning
Fang
Bing would fall
Yuan
into the
ignored
water
her
and
and
stared
their
into the
lives would be in
distance.
unpredictable danger.
Thud. Suddenly, a soft muffled sound could be heard. What sound? Fang Yuan instantly frowned. Bai Ning Bing tilted her ears, her expression puzzled. What sound? Why can't I hear it? Ginseng roots grew out of Fang Yuan's ears, and almost immediately after, a continuous thud sound could be heard. The bamboo raft also started to shake slightly. There's something in the river, it's attacking the bamboo raft. Bai Ning Bing exclaimed. With a whoosh, a black line shot out from the river beside the bamboo raft and brushed past Bai Ning Bing. This black shadow was extremely fast, and could not be seen with one's eyes. Bai Ning Bing only felt a chill beside her ear, and a stream of liquid flowed down her cheek. She subconsciously touched it, and it was blood. What the hell is this? She cursed, and looked up, only to see a shuttle-shaped black fish falling from the sky into the river. It's a shuttle swordfish, damn it, quickly reach the shore. Fang Yuan shouted, and hurriedly pulled the sails. This shuttle swordfish had 2 sharp heads, and a large midsection, like a shuttle. They could only be seen in the great rivers and seas. Often, there were hundreds or thousands of them. They were carnivorous, and often set out in groups to hunt prey that were dozens or even hundreds of times larger than themselves. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. One after another, black arrows shot out from the river's surface. The bamboo raft shook violently, and a large number of shuttle swordfish hit the bamboo raft. Fortunately,
The green thatched bamboo was an excellent bamboo, and was extremely hard, so it was able to resist. A large number of shuttle swordfish stabbed into the bottom of the bamboo raft, causing it to be in a precarious situation. The sails were adjusted, and with the help of the river wind, the bamboo raft tilted to the side of the river. But the school of shuttle swordfish in the river did not give up. A large number of black shadows swam, and fiercely attacked. Crack! A green spear bamboo broke, and a shuttle swordfish crashed into the bamboo raft. Its momentum was exhausted, and it landed at Bai Ningbing's feet. Its body was covered in tightly packed scales, and its head was shaped like an awl, shining with a dark light. Bai Ningbing looked at it helplessly. After she self-detonated, all the GU worms on her body were frozen to death. Yin-yang rotation GU only saved her, but did not have the ability to revive her GU worms. Crack, crack, crack. Next, a large number of bamboo shards broke. The bamboo raft withstood the first wave of attacks. It was already outstanding enough. It could no longer withstand the second wave. The river water spread, and the bamboo raft was damaged, starting to sink. Quick, quick, quick. Fang Yuan cursed, and protected the sails. If the sails were lost, the bamboo raft would have no power, and Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing would die if they fell into the river. The shuttle swordfish prepared for the third wave of attacks, and large numbers of shuttle swordfish shot out like a rain of arrows. The bamboo was pierced, the hemp ropes were torn, and the bamboo raft started to collapse. Canopy GU. Fang Yuan barely activated the rank 3 GU worm, and immediately, the prime val C in his aperture fell at a terrifying speed. This was under the situation where he had a 90% a grade aptitude, and had the heavenly essence treasure lotus. Rank 1 initial stage green copper prime val essence could not meet the requirements of the canopy GU in terms of quality. Even the white light armor that was formed was extremely weak, and did not have the aura of a rank 3 cultivator. Bam bam bam! The shuttle swordfish crashed into the white light armor, producing a series of muffled sounds, but could not harm Fang Yuan. But Bai Ningbing was already injured, and she frantically dodged on the bamboo raft, dodging the shuttle swordfish that shot up from below. At the same time, she stood behind Fang Yuan, relying on him to block most of the attacks. The situation was extremely dangerous, and the sails were also broken, with many holes covering the surface of the sails. The bamboo raft's power was getting weaker and weaker. There was less than a third of the bamboo raft left, and a large amount of river water rose up, covering the feet, and it was about to sink. Damn it! Could it be that even a rank 5 GU master can't kill me, but I am going to die in the hands of these puny shuttle swordfish? Bai Ningbing sighed. With another wave of attack, the bamboo raft would definitely collapse, and they would definitely die if they fell into the water. However, the shuttle swordfish group's attack had yet to arrive, causing Bai Ningbing to hold her breath, her heart on edge. We've reached the shore. The shuttle swordfish group won't swim to the shallow waters. Huff. We are temporarily safe. Fang Yuan let out a breath of turbid air, his body extremely sore and limp. These days, he had not slept or rested, controlling the sails and constantly adjusting the direction of the bamboo raft. He had almost reached the limit of his stamina. Bai Ningbing also fiercely sucked in a breath of cold air. Her white robe was dyed red with blood, and there were dozens of injuries on her body. Fortunately, she had battle talent, and with the bamboo raft to reduce the shuttle swordfish's momentum, she only suffered light injuries. Fang Yuan glanced at Bai Ningbing, and immediately felt pain on his body. He was also injured, and blood flowed out continuously. The canopy GU had only been activated for a few minutes, and the prime val C in his aperture had completely dried up. Without protection, his body of flesh and blood naturally could not resist the shuttle swordfish. His original plan was to drift for another day. But there are unpredictable winds and clouds in the sky, and people have their ups and downs. Plans can never keep up with changes, and there was still a distance to Baijiu Mountain, but Fang Yuan had to reach the shore now. The sails had already lost their use, and Fang Yuan used all his strength to steer the bamboo raft away from the reefs, and stranded on a beach. The two waded through the water, stepping on the soft sand, and reached the shore. Bai Ningbing covered her injuries, and sat down. Her face was pale. If this goes on, we will definitely lose too much blood, and it bodes ill. What GU worms do you have that can heal me? Quickly take them out. Fang Yuan smiled bitterly. Where would he get a healing GU? What do you plan to do next? When are you going to give me the young GU? She walked forward and asked with a frown. Fang Yuan picked up the black robe and socks. Didn't I say it before? I'm going to buy GU Mountain. As for the young GU, I have to wait until I reach rank 3. Bai Ningbing's frown deepened, raising her voice. I have to wait until you reach rank 3? She had never thought that one day, she would fall into such an awkward situation. A man had actually turned into a woman. After the stimulation of life and death faded, this damned strange feeling surged in her heart. If it was possible, she did not want to endure it any longer. Fang Yuan raised his head and looked at her, not saying a word. He walked to the river and used the river water to wash his clothes. Although this black robe had holes, it could be used again after some repair, unlike Bai Ningbing's white robe. He did not know how long he had to survive in the wilderness. He could not waste this robe. Bai Ningbing was a smart person. Fang Yuan's silence made her realize her true situation. Now, she only had rank 3 cultivation, but did not have a single GU worm on her. Even if she did, she would not dare to do anything to Fang Yuan. The young GU was refined by Fang Yuan, and as long as he willed it, it could self-destruct. The yin-yang rotation GU came in a pair. If this one was destroyed, then Bai Ningbing would never be able to become a man again. Looking at Fang Yuan's back, Bai Ningbing gritted her teeth, feeling extremely gloomy. She was a genius of the Bai clan, yet she had fallen to such a state, being manipulated by others. This feeling made the proud and arrogant Bai Ningbing extremely unhappy. We don't have a healing GU now. If we meet with danger again, what should we do? The problem is not just this. I don't have a single GU worm on me. I have no battle strength. No, I have to capture some wild GU worms to refine, otherwise I won't even have the strength to protect myself. Bai Ningbing was speaking, when her stomach suddenly growled. Damn it. She held her stomach, feeling a wave of hunger. Hey, the one who washes the clothes, quickly take out some of your dried meat, I'm starving. During the 5 days of drifting on the bamboo raft, they had been relying on the dried meat that Fang Yuan brought for food. Although the dried meat was hard and felt like dry wood when chewed, it could fill the stomach and provide energy. Fang Yuan stood up, using his hands to dry the water off the black robe, and shook it before replying to Bai Ningbing. What are you in a hurry for? Hold it for me. Bai Ningbing frowned, and reluctantly took the black robe. Fang Yuan called out Tusita flour, and took out a bag of dried meat. Bai Ningbing grabbed it without hesitation, and started chewing. He chewed until his teeth were cracking, and his teeth were sore, but he was enjoying it. Fang Yuan looked at her with a smile. When had this Bai clan genius ever been hungry? Thinking of his previous life's experience, he could understand her feelings now. Bai Ningbing chewed a piece of dried meat and licked his dry lips. The dried meat is filling, but it's too hard. Sigh, I'm already satisfied to have dried meat to eat. The smile on Fang Yuan's face became wider, and under Bai Ningbing's shocked gaze, he took out a metal pot. You even brought a metal pot. That's great, we can use water to boil the dried meat and eat it. If it's water, we can use river water. But we need firewood to start a fire, so we might have to chop down trees. Saying so, Bai Ningbing looked around, and felt troubled. The shoal they had landed on was water on one side, and tall cliffs on the other 3 sides. The cliffs were covered with dense trees, but there was not a single piece of wood on the shoal. If Bai Ningbing wanted firewood, he would have to climb up the cliff and chop down the trees. If it was his glorious past, doing this would be a piece of cake, and he could do it with ease. But now, she did not have a single GU, and if she wanted to climb up this slippery cliff, she would have to spend a lot of effort. Bai Ningbing was troubled. Right at this moment, Fang Yuan took out a pile of coal. Coal was much easier to use than wood, and Bai Ningbing was pleasantly surprised. Following that, Fang Yuan took out flint, kerosene, and a metal frame. Everything was quickly set up. Bai Ningbing saw this, and her expression turned solemn, her azure eyes staring at Fang Yuan. You are too well prepared. Did you want to leave Qingmao Mountain long ago? Fang Yuan's preparations were a little too excessive, even bringing these things, and the intelligent Bai Ningbing found some clues. What do you think? Fang Yuan laughed, and did not answer Bai Ningbing's question, but pointed at the metal pot. You can go scoop some river water. Bai Ningbing gritted her teeth. Fang Yuan's attitude made her gnash her teeth in hatred. She scooped the water, and Fang Yuan had already started the fire. First, he boiled the water in the metal pot, and Fang Yuan poured a small bag of dried meat into it. Not long later, a meaty aroma wafted out. Bai Ningbing smelled it, and subconsciously licked her lips. Fang Yuan took out a pair of chopsticks and spoon, and started eating heartily with Bai Ningbing. The cooked dried meat only needed to be chewed a few times before they swallowed it. The boiling hot meat soup made the two feel even more comfortable. The only fly in the ointment was that the Yellow Dragon River water contained silt, so it tasted terrible when eaten. But in this kind of situation, how could they not be satisfied with such treatment? I'm still not full, give me another half bag of dried meat. Bai Ningbing was not satisfied, and rubbed her stomach. Fang Yuan immediately rejected, I can't eat anymore, I have to use it sparingly. Why are you so stingy? Look at the forest in front of us, how many wild animals can there be? Bai Ningbing shouted in dissatisfaction. Fang Yuan glared at her, of course I know there are wild animals in the forest, but wild animals also represent wild beasts. How many wild beasts can you deal with now? What if we encounter a herd of wild beasts? What if we encounter wild GU worms that ambush us? Even if we kill a wild beast, is its meat poisonous, and can we eat it? Do you have any poisonous GU worms? Bai Ningbing choked, and was speechless. Fang Yuan snorted. Bai Ningbing was a genius of the Bai clan, and was naturally arrogant. This beating was enough. If he continued, it would be as bad as not enough. He sat cross-legged, and took down the pot. He hung the freshly washed black robe on the metal frame, and used the remaining heat from the coal to dry it. Fang Yuan continued, it's getting late, we will spend the night here. Tomorrow we will explore the forest. I specially chose this place, with cliffs on 3 sides, there will be very few wild beasts that can reach this beach, so it is relatively safer. But we cannot be careless, we will take turns to keep watch. This was the benefit of having 2 people. Fang Yuan willed, and summoned the chainsaw golden centipede and the sky canopy GU. I'll lend these 2 GU worms to you for now. Familiarize yourself with them, Fang Yuan said. He was only at rank 1 initial stage now, and could barely activate a rank 3 GU worm. Even with a grade recovery ability, and the heavenly essence treasure lotus, he could not display the power of a rank 3 GU worm. Thus, he might as well give it to the rank 3 Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing took the GU worm, and could not help but look deeply at Fang Yuan. Between GU masters, GU worms could be borrowed. Within the GU worm, the GU masters will reside. As long as they get the master's acknowledgement, Others can communicate with the GU worm and use its power. Of course, it would not be as easy as refining it himself. Also, as long as the original owner willed and wanted to go back on his word, others would immediately lose control. But even so, GU masters rarely lend their GU worms to others. Chapter 206. Chainsaw Golden Centipede. Bai Ning Bing stretched out her slender hands, caressing the dark golden carapace of the rank 3 GU. She mumbled with a complicated expression. She had suffered quite a bit from the Chainsaw Golden Centipede in her battle with Fang Yuan. She did not expect that there would be a moment where Fang Yuan would lend it to her. Fang Yuan's method of using the Chainsaw Golden Centipede left a deep impression on her. Bai Ning Bing immediately followed suit, waving the Chainsaw Golden Centipede like a sword. From time to time, she would use her mind to control the Chainsaw Golden Centipede's body, waving it like a whip. The silver edges of the chainsaw spun, drawing a strange and distorted light in the air. Sky Canopy GU. She kept the Sky Canopy GU in her aperture, raising her eyebrows and secretly injecting her white-silver Primeval essence. Immediately, her body lit up with a white armor. Fate is really mysterious. To think that one day, I can actually use your GU. She looked at Fang Yuan and sighed. Fang Yuan was silent, but he sat cross-legged beside the warm coals, closing his eyes. He sent his mind into his aperture, and a full A-grade talent Primeval C immediately appeared. If I use a rank 90%, 3 GU, my Primeval originally just a little over 40%, the consumption will be far greater than the recovery. In no
Although
time,
my cultivation
my
dropped
prime
from
val
rank
will
3 to rank
completely
1,
dry up,
and a few years
Fang
of hard
Yuan
work were
calculated
wasted, in his
it was
heart.
all worth it.
After
But
all,
this is
it
all
was green
worth it.
copper prime val
Fang
essence,
Yuan was
and
very
it was an initial
satisfied.
stage jade green
Throughout
one.
history,
The quality
GU
was too
master
low.
cultivation
Other
had
than
three
this
main
heavenly
points.
essence treasure lotus,
First was talent,
Fang Yuan
second
had
was
some other
resources,
GU, and third was his vital
worms.
GU.
These
Spring
three
autumn
aspects
cicada
were indispensable,
This rank
and were the
6
most
GU
important.
was ranked 7th
Originally,
in the world's
Fang
strange
Yuan
list.
only had
Once
C-grade
it became
talent,
his
and
vital
he used
GU,
all sorts of
it
methods
could no
to
longer
use
be moved
resources
out
and
of GU
GU
worms
worms
to make up
right
for his
now,
lack of talent.
it was at the center
The
of
few
the
years
aperture.
he spent at
After
Qingmao
another
Mountain
rebirth,
were quite
its
difficult.
aura was no longer as
Although
strong.
his cultivation
yellow-green
progress
light
was
had
good,
completely
it was also
disappeared.
the result of
It
his
was
hard
dispirited
work,
and
racking his
extremely
brains
weak.
and taking risks.
It concealed its
If
body,
his talent
and
had
as
been a
time
grade,
passed,
his
it
life would have
silently
been
absorbed
completely
the river
different,
water
and
of
he
the
would have
river of
reached
time,
rank 3 long
starting
ago.
another round of
Fate
recovery.
makes fools of
Fang
people.
Yuan understood
I have
in
a
his
great
heart,
talent
I
now,
cannot use
but the
spring
stable
autumn
growth
cicada
environment
in a
in the
short
village
period
is
of
gone.
time.
In terms
Once
of
I use
resources
such a
and
dangerous
GU
state,
worms,
I will
it
sink
can't be
into the
compared
river
to
of
before.
time and
Fang
self-detonate for
Yuan was
nothing.
roaming outside
Without
now,
spring
and
autumn
his
cicada's
cultivation
pressure,
was too weak.
the other GU
His
worms
life could be in
released their
danger
nature.
at any time,
The rank
and it was
2
naturally not
flavors
as
liquor
stable
worms
as chubby
Qingmao
body
Mountain.
flashed with
Of
4 different
course,
lights.
there was no stable
High up
trade
on the
to exchange
quintessential
for what they
essence
needed.
C, he was
Fortunately,
happily playing in the
I
water.
have the heavenly
The
essence
carp's
treasure
fossil-like
lotus.
stealth scales
My
GU
biggest
quietly
problem
lay
in
at the
terms
bottom
of
of the
resources
sea,
has
allowing
been
the
solved.
prime val sea
At the
water
very
to wash
least,
its scales.
I won't have to
A
worry
black
about it
beetle
before
with
the
a pair
third
of
rank.
iron pincers on
Fang
its head
Yuan
flew above
scanned
the
through
sea.
with his
This was the
mind.
plunder GU.
In the 90%
Circling
green
and
copper
playing
true
with it
yuan
was the
C,
remaining
there
white
was a
armor
blue
young
and white
GU
lotus
from
rooted
yin-yang
in
rotation
rotation
at
GU.
the bottom of the sea.
The rank 4
Its
Bloodskull
petals were
GU
plump
was
and
also
filled
at the
with
bottom
pure
of the
and
sea,
holy celestial
occasionally
chi.
flashing with a
This
bright
heavenly
red light.
essence treasure
As
lotus
for the other
was rank
GU
3
worms,
and had huge
including the
potential.
Blood Moon GU,
In order to
they had
refine
turned
it,
into a
he
red
directly
crescent,
destroyed
hidden in
the
Fang
spirit
Yuan's
spring
palm.
of the Guyue
The
clan.
earth communication
It was equivalent
grass
to a
had become
miniature
one of Fang
mobile
Yuan's
spirit
ears.
spring, not showing
Back
normally.
when Fang Yuan
The
was rank
two-seater
3,
flower was
it was able
placed
to
on
continuously
Fang Yuan's
recover
tongue.
Fang Yuan's
As for the
prime val
sky
essence,
canopy GU
allowing his
and
recovery
chancel golden
speed to reach B
centipede,
grade.
they were lent to
Rank
by
3
Ning Bing.
cultivation was
Counting the
white
numbers,
silver prime val
Fang
essence.
Yuan now had a
Right
total
now,
of 12
Fang
GU
Yuan
worms.
was at the initial
This
stage
number
of the
was
first
too
rank.
much. Green
Normally,
copper prime
it
val
was normal
essence.
for low-level
With the
GU
heavenly
masters
essence
to have
treasure
2 to
lotus
3
in
GU.
Fang Yuan's
At
aperture,
rank 4 or
his prime
5,
val
it
essence
would
recovery
increase to
speed
4 to
was
5
extremely
GU.
fast.
Even the
If I
great
use a
divine
rank 1
investigator,
GU,
Tai
my prime val
only
essence
had around
recovery
7
will be
GU.
shocking, almost
Don't look at
limitless.
Guyue's generation
If I
and
use 1 or
Master
2 rank
Tensuru,
2 GU,
those were special
although my
cases.
prime val C will
Both were
drop,
old
it will
monsters with
continuously
hundreds of
recover
years
and
of
the sea will be
accumulation.
relatively stable.
The number of GU worms Fang Yuan had was 3 to 4 times that of ordinary GU masters. Too many would bring a heavy financial burden to the GU master, as well as logistical pressure. These GU were carefully selected by Fang Yuan, and were easy to raise. But now, the resources carried by the two-seater flower were limited, and still brought a burden to Fang Yuan. The first to bear the brunt was the 4 flavors liquor worm, as it needed wine as food. Bai Ning Bing did not retreat, but advanced instead. She was not someone who did not know how to adapt. After gaining an advantage with that attack, she immediately changed her battle method. The centipede's tail stabbed into the beach, and then its body shrunk, and its sawtooth suddenly whipped up. The 6-legged crocodile's stomach was easily cut open, and blood and internal organs spurted out. One by one, 6-legged crocodiles fell to the ground, and Bai Ning Bing went on a killing spree. At this rate, the crocodile horde is not a threat. It seems that my true threat is not this beast horde, but Fang Yuan. The situation was good, and Bai Ning Bing could not help but have other thoughts. The young GU was in Fang Yuan's hands, causing Bai Ning Bing to be cautious, and had no choice but to listen to Fang Yuan. But he was a Bai clan genius, proud and arrogant. How could he resign himself to fate? If I kill Fang Yuan, will I be able to get that young GU? Bai Ning Bing's eyes shone with a cold light, and a thought appeared in her mind. But the moment this thought appeared, it was immediately dispelled. She understood Fang Yuan like she understood herself. With Fang Yuan's personality, he was as hard as steel, ruthless and meticulous. Even if he really died, he would definitely destroy the young GU. This was 100%, and there was no other possibility. Moreover, I don't have any GU worms on me. Whether it is the Sky Canopy GU or the Chainsaw Golden Centipede, they are all his. No matter what, I have to get my own GU worm. Fang Yuan's lips curled up, and he looked at the battlefield in front of him. Bai Ning Bing's movements were slightly hesitant, and the light in her eyes was seen by him. Towards Bai Ningbing's thoughts, Fang Yuan was clear. Fang Yuan was not surprised, and even understood Bai Ningbing. If it was him, he would have the same thoughts. Both of them were arrogant people. How could they be willing to be manipulated by others? However, the situation is stronger than the person, so what if he is a genius? He. Fang Yuan laughed coldly in his heart. Fang Yuan was confident. With such a huge weakness in his hands, Bai Ningbing was like a butterfly in a spider's web. Struggling a little at the beginning was expected, and was inevitable. But in the end, she would fall into his hands, recognize reality, and be tamed by him, becoming a useful chess piece. The battle continued. Large numbers of six-legged crocodile corpses fell on the shoal. Bai Ningbing was panting, sweating profusely, and her attacks slowed down. She did not have enough stamina. Strength had always been her weakness. When she fought with Fang Yuan in the past, she was at a disadvantage because of Fang Yuan's strength of 2 boars. Now that she had fought for more than an hour, her stamina was running out. After all, she did not sleep or rest, and floated on the bamboo raft for 5 days and 5 nights. The rest and reorganization from before was too short. What made it even more difficult for her to talk about and irritate her were the 2 lumps on her chest. Every time she moved, these 2 burdens would move, and she was not used to it. Fang Yuan, are you still not going to make a move? She panted heavily, shouting. As she spoke, she dodged a 6-legged crocodile's attack, and used her sore knees to stand up. Fang Yuan's voice was cold. Once I make a move, I will attract the 6-legged crocodiles. Do you want me to die? If I die, you will not get the Yang Jiyu. 3 6-legged crocodiles surrounded her, and Bai Ningbing had to retreat a few steps. She was so tired that she almost fainted, her stamina had reached its limit, and her eyes were dim. The chainsaw golden centipede was extremely heavy, and kept pulling her towards the ground. She gritted her teeth. Fang Yuan, if I die, can you still live? Don't worry, I'm behind you. Fang Yuan was calm, leaning on the cliff. 100 Beast King Crocodile King. Different from the other 6-legged crocodiles, this crocodile king's body was bigger, like a yak. It did not walk on 6 legs, but only used 2 of its hind legs to walk. It walked like a human, but its back was as thick as a bear's. A crocodile tail covered in scales dragged a deep mark on the beach. The other 4 legs were in the shape of claws, which could be called 4 arms. Its arms were thick, and its muscles were as hard as stone. Bai Ningbing could not help but smile bitterly. If she fought this 100 Beast King alone, she would have a chance of winning. But now, after the intense battle, her remaining stamina and primeval essence were severely lacking. It would be hard to deal with this 100 Beast King that was in perfect condition. But at this time, Fang Yuan's voice came from behind, "Take it." A ray of blue and white light shot into her aperture. It took the form of a lotus and planted itself at the bottom of her aperture. Immediately, her primeval C started to rise rapidly. Bai Ningbing was surprised and happy. What GU is this? Heavenly Essence Treasure Lotus. Fang Yuan answered. So this is the Heavenly Essence Treasure Lotus. No wonder even Guyue's generation wanted it. Bai Ningbing exclaimed, before scolding, "If you had such a GU, why didn't you lend it to me earlier?" Fang Yuan laughed, saying to himself, "Fortunately, this crocodile king is only at 100 beast level. Remember, its weakness is the white skin on its chest." Saying so, his body flickered, and like a ripple of water, his figure gradually disappeared. He activated the stealth scales GU. Crafty and treacherous, Bai Ningbing scolded Fang Yuan in her heart, before concentrating on the crocodile king. On its chest, there was indeed a piece of white skin, but it was only the size of a washbasin. It was also faintly protected by its 4 claws. How could it be easy to hit there? Howl! The crocodile king roared, and charged towards Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing could only rely on herself, and after dodging the attack, she swung her arm. The chainsaw golden centipede smashed into the crocodile king's back. Sparks flew, and the chainsaw golden centipede bounced up, almost knocking Bai Ningbing down. There was a white mark on the crocodile king's back, but other than that, it was unharmed. Whoosh! It swung its crocodile tail, and the wind blew. Bai Ning Bing only saw a black whip in front of her, thick and long. She had no time to dodge, and could only activate the sky canopy GU. With a muffled sound, she was sent flying for over 10 meters, before crashing into a sturdy cliff. Bai Ning Bing sucked in a breath of cold air from the pain. The sky canopy GU was a rank 3 GU, with outstanding defense, but it could not cushion the impact. Bam bam bam, the Crocodile King moved its two thick legs, creating deep pits on the beach as it charged towards Bai Ning Bing. Bai Ning Bing's eyes shone, but she did not move as she looked at the Crocodile King charging towards her. Chapter 209. Sixth segment. Night resting in the treetops. Swish swish swish, the river tides came and went, the sky was dark. Under the dusk, the beach was dyed red by crocodile blood, and hundreds of six-legged crocodile corpses surrounded the two youngsters. Beside a huge crocodile corpse, Fang Yuan slowly stood up. When the six-legged crocodile group attacked, Fang Yuan did not even think of escaping. Although he only had rank 1 initial stage cultivation, Bai Ning Bing was rank 3 peak stage. Using her cultivation and his rank 3 GU worm, it was possible to eliminate 100 beast group. On one hand, he needed to use the six-legged crocodile group as an external force to suppress Bai Ning Bing and train her. On the other hand, he needed a suitable GU worm for himself. Although I am rank 1 initial stage, I have a grade aptitude, and with the Heavenly Essence Treasure Lotus, my Primeval Essence recovery is extremely fast, thus I can use rank 2 GU worms. But be it the Crocodile Strength GU or the Carapace GU, they are not ideal. Fang Yuan sighed in his heart. The Sky Canopy GU was rank 3, and was lent to Bai Ning Bing. Fang Yuan indeed needed a suitable defensive GU for himself. But the Carapace GU could only defend the back, it was too small. The Crocodile Strength GU was precious, but currently, Fang Yuan had the strength of 2 boars, and was strong enough. If he increased his strength, it would harm his body. Below rank 6, a GU master's body was a mortal body, it had a limit, and could not keep increasing his strength. Fang Yuan had already used the black and white boar GU to modify his body, raising his strength from the roots. If he used the Crocodile Strength GU now, it would exceed his body's endurance, and would harm himself. That is to say, unless he found other supplementary GU worms and used it with the Crocodile Strength GU. Before that, using the Crocodile Strength GU would be suicidal. In Bai GU Mountain's inheritance, there is a Jade Bone GU that can increase the strength of a GU Master's bones. If I use this GU and use the Crocodile Strength GU, there will be no problem. But right now, there is still a distance to Bai GU Mountain, it will take at least 10 days to half a month. Fang Yuan looked towards the southeast direction, and with a thought, he summoned the Crocodile Strength GU. He gave the Crocodile Strength GU to Bai Ning Bing, and recalled his Heavenly Essence Treasure Lotus. Using this Crocodile Strength GU can increase your strength by 1 Crocodile Strength. The process is a little tiring, but it should be done after a month of continuous urging, Fang Yuan warned. Bai Ning Bing nodded, feeling happy in her heart. With Crocodile Strength GU, she could make up for her weakness in strength. Previously in Bai Clan Village, she had also searched for it, but her luck was not good and she did not find such a GU. To think that he would actually obtain the GU worm that he had yearned for day and night in the wilderness. When a GU master roams in the wilderness, danger lurks everywhere, but at the same time, it is filled with opportunities. Let's go. The smell of blood is too strong here, and the cliffs on 3 sides have almost collapsed. It will definitely attract some ferocious beasts. It's definitely not safe to camp here. Fang Yuan's suggestion received Bai Ning Bing's approval. However, before leaving, Fang Yuan gathered as much crocodile blood and crocodile meat as he could and stored them in the two-seater flour. Crocodile Strength GU feeds on crocodile meat. Fresh crocodile blood could be used to feed Blood Skull GU and Blood Moon GU. The sun had already set and night had begun to fall. In the distant sky, stars could be vaguely seen. The cliffs had collapsed from the impact of the male Crocodile King, making it easy to climb. After Fang Yuan and Bai Ning Bing climbed up the cliffs, a lush and dense forest appeared in front of them. The dense forest stretched out, the distant mountains were indistinct, and the depths of the forest were shrouded in darkness. No one knew what dangers or ferocious beasts were living here. Chirp, chirp, chirp. A strange cry, unknown whether it was the cry of a bird or an ape, entered the two's ears. The two looked at each other, knowing that the dense forest in the wilderness was filled with danger. Especially at night, there was not enough light. Entering the forest at this time was even more dangerous than during the day. But they had no other choice. Let's go. Fang Yuan signaled Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing gritted her teeth, and could only drag her extremely tired body and walk in front, opening the path for Fang Yuan. These trees were at least 4 meters tall. Near the river, it was filled with moisture, and the ground was softer than the mountain soil. The warm and humid weather caused the moss to flourish, covering the ground, rocks, and attached to the tree trunks. The deeper they went, the darker the light became, and the colder it became. Fang Yuan was still fine, but Bai Ningbing could not help but shiver. She had just fought an intense battle, and her entire body was drenched in sweat. Now that the coldness invaded her body, she naturally felt even colder. I say, set up the stove later, let's warm ourselves up. Bai Ningbing said as she explored the path in front. Her voice floated in the dense forest, making the dense forest even more quiet. Warm ourselves up. Hee hee. Fang Yuan laughed. Don't you think this dense forest is too quiet? Let's stop and take a good look at the trees in front. Bai Ningbing's footsteps slowed down, and she looked ahead. The trees in front were short and strong, their roots were coiled like snakes, extending into a stretch. At the end of every branch, there were vines, like green pythons, either coiling around each other or hanging on the ground. The ends of the vines were like Venus flytraps, or like 2 open shells of clams, waiting for the arrival of their prey. Beast trap tree. Bai Ningbing thought of what the academy taught and recognized this tree. This tree ate Mita's food, and every branch softened into a vine with only 2 leaves. The leaves were wide and large, and when they opened, they looked like a giant mouth. Once a prey approached, the vines would pounce like a snake, and the leaves would snap shut, swallowing the prey in one mouthful. Then it would secrete acid, and spend tens of days, or even months, slowly absorbing the prey. Bai Ningbing counted, there were at least 30 to 40 beast trap trees in front of her. The distance between each tree was long, and between them were ordinary trees. This is a beast trap forest. No wonder it is so quiet and lacking in life. But it doesn't matter, I can use the strength of a rank 3 GU to forcefully open a path. Bai Ningbing said. Fang Yuan shook his head. What we want now is a safe campsite. I think this beast trap forest is very good. Chapter 210. The sun was high in the sky, and the clouds were white. The sun shone on the earth, and the yellow dragon river flowed. The dense forest beside the river formed a sea of green. On the treetops of the beast-trapping trees, vines climbed, and 8 or 9 leaf cages stood tall like clams. Suddenly, one of the cages shook violently. Poof! A bright red crescent blade shot out from inside, piercing through the leaves. A young girl, wearing a light-colored robe and covered in a layer of white armor, came out of the leaf cage. She was agile, and the tips of her feet tapped on the branches a few times. She leaped continuously, and finally landed safely on the ground. It was Bai Ningbing. During the entire process, the beast-trapping tree did not move at all, and was deathly still. Bai Ningbing looked at the beast-trapping tree, and couldn't help but think of Fang Yuan's words yesterday. For any prey that escapes, the beast-trapping tree will not attack again. This is because any beast that escapes is not something that the beast-trapping tree can deal with. Although the beast-trapping tree has no intelligence, this evolved instinct makes it more adaptable to survival. Achoo! Bai Ningbing couldn't help but sneeze. She rubbed her nose, and looked around, sizing up the surroundings. In this beast-trapping tree forest, most of the tree crowns had leaf cages raised high, like green shells. It seems that the smell of blood on the shore attracted many wild beasts. The beast-trapping tree had a good harvest last night. Bai Ningbing thought to herself as she moved her limbs and shook her head. She slept very uncomfortably last night. The crocodile's corpse was hard, and the night was cold. Although she was extremely tired, she woke up a few times from the cold. As a result, She had dark circles under her eyes, and her spirit was not good. But after a night of cultivation, her strength had recovered by more than half. At this moment, she purposely stood in a sunny place, and used the sunlight to dispel the cold in her body. "Bai Ning Bing, let me out." A voice came. It was Fang Yuan. He didn't need the earth communication ear grass to hear the commotion. Bai Ning Bing looked at another beast-trapping tree. On the crown of this tree, the leaf cage that swallowed Fang Yuan was still in the same place. She smiled to herself, but didn't answer. Instead, he closed his eyes and rested, bathing in the sunlight and delaying on purpose. After more than a quarter of an hour, she shot out a blood-red crescent blade and cut the vines. The shell-like leaves bumped against the tree trunk and finally fell to the ground. Bai Ning Bing slowly walked closer, activating a blood moon GU and cutting the leaves. Only then did Fang Yuan come out. "Why are you so late? I woke up a long time ago and even cultivated for a while." Fang Yuan's face was ruddy and he was in high spirits. The clothes and cloak he had taken out last night had already been put away. Bai Ning Bing coldly snorted. Fang Yuan's current state was out of her expectations. She had thought that Fang Yuan was like her, that he didn't sleep well, that he was cold and hungry. Thus, he deliberately delayed and tortured him a little more. He didn't expect Fang Yuan to be in such a good state. "It's getting late. We still have to travel today. Let's eat first." Fang Yuan spat out the Tusita flour and took out the coal, the iron frame, the iron pot, the water bottle, the dry biscuit, and the rest. He moved quickly and quickly cooked a pot of meat soup. Then he searched the area and picked a large bunch of tree mushrooms from the moss on the beast trap tree's trunk. These tree mushrooms were thin and shriveled, with a dark purple or black color. Bai Ning Bing looked at Fang Yuan placing the tree mushrooms into the pot and questioned, "Wild plants can't be eaten carelessly, they might contain poison." "Yes, you're right." Fang Yuan nodded, "You can choose not to eat them." If Fang Yuan had rank 3 cultivation, he naturally would not need Bai Ning Bing. But now, he was only rank 1 initial stage, and Bai Ning Bing's value was very high. But to subdue her and make use of her, he needed to spend some effort. Bai Ning Bing was intelligent and proud, and could not be forced. He could only use some small matters or external forces to slowly grind away at her character. Secretly taking out some clothes to keep warm was not because Fang Yuan was petty. Earlier, when Bai Ning Bing purposely delayed, Fang Yuan did not pursue the matter, but it was not because he was magnanimous. To subdue Bai Ning Bing, it will take a long time. But there is no need to be anxious, let's take it slow. I also need time to recover my cultivation. After the two had their fill, it was already noon. The ground was filled with the footprints of wild beasts. They continued their journey, with Bai Ning Bing leading the way. They walked towards the southeast direction of the forest. The deeper they went, the taller the trees in the forest. Earlier, the beast trap trees were only 3 to 4 meters tall, but gradually, trees that were 5 to 6 meters tall appeared. Occasionally, a 7 to 8 meter tall tree king would appear, like a crane among a flock of chickens. Of course, there were also withered tree trunks that fell to the ground, covered with thick moss. Or at certain joints, there were small green sprouts. Or there were broken trees that were split into 2 by lightning, displaying the might of heaven and earth. These huge creatures grew densely here, covering the sky and covering the sun. The deeper they went, the colder they felt. The strong sunlight was blocked by the lush leaves that formed the walls, and could only pass through a small gap, allowing some mottled light and shadows to enter. When the wind blew, the leaves rustled, the light and shadows swayed, like shattered gold. The forest was not peaceful. Occasionally, they would see deer, foxes, rabbits, and other animals scurrying about. Most of them were birds, all kinds of birds, some in groups of 3 to 5, some in groups, either flying in the sky, or standing on the branches and leaves, competing with each other's voices. Occasionally, the roar of a tiger could be heard from afar. The two of them walked and stopped at times, relying on the earth communication ear grass. Fang Yuan avoided many dangers. But some places could not be avoided, and they had to rely on Bai Ning Bing's battle strength to force their way through. Rank 3 cultivation was enough to deal with the normal problems in the wild. Night fell again, and Fang Yuan found a safe campsite. This was a rocky hill. Bai Ningbing was extremely tired. Even if it was a hard rock, she would fall asleep the moment she laid down. When she woke up the next day, her whole body felt uncomfortable, and her head could not move properly, evidently suffering from a stiff neck. Moreover, her sneezing became more frequent, evidently the cold had entered her body. Fang Yuan saw this, but continued on his way. The two of them walked very slowly, because they lacked a movement GU. Previously, Fang Yuan had the 1,000-li earthwolf spider, while Bai Ningbing had the white form immortal snake GU. They were both GU used for transportation, and both were rank 5. Unfortunately, one died and the other escaped. But Fang Yuan was not impatient, his cultivation was weak, and he needed time to cultivate. Every day, he would travel in the day, and even if it was time to rest, he would make use of every minute and second, cultivating non-stop. At night, he would usually cultivate deep into the night. A few days later, Bai Ningbing fell sick, catching a cold. Her head was dizzy, her battle strength fell sharply, and her whole body heated up. Fang Yuan could only stop and take out the Tusita flower's medicinal herbs, giving them to her. He also applied some ointment on her body. It was burning hot, and could remove the moisture in her body. After resting for 6 days, Bai Ningbing finally recovered. This illness was a huge blow to her head. During this period, there were a few times when she was dizzy, her limbs weak, and she could not even apply the ointment. In the end, it was Fang Yuan who helped her. If not for Fang Yuan, I might not have survived. Bai Ningbing sighed in her heart after recovering. Even if she was extremely unwilling to admit it, it was the truth. In the past, her tone was firm, and her mouth was fierce. But after this incident, her words became less, and she was often silent. Sometimes, they would travel for half a day without speaking a word. Her words became less, and naturally, Fang Yuan's authority increased. In this way, he slowly became the leader of the two. Chapter 211. 8th segment, Shen Yuan Divine Chicken Time passed. Half a month later, Bai Ningbing had lost a lot of weight, but her whole body exuded a vigorous aura. She was even more spirited, her blue eyes looking around, and from time to time a bright light flashed. No doubt, she had adapted to this wandering life, and learned many things from it. Fang Yuan was clear. Although Bai Ningbing was quiet, it did not mean she admitted defeat. She had a strong will in her heart, learning seriously and trying hard to adapt. Occasionally, she would give some rebuttals, although shallow, they were no longer immature. Fang Yuan could feel that Bai Ningbing was improving every day. But this situation was not out of his expectations. It was not easy to subdue Bai Ningbing. Any true demon had a strong will to resist. Under the hot sun, the two hid in the bushes, carefully observing this valley. In the valley, there was a huge crocodile sleeping soundly. This was a lava crocodile. It was the size of 3 elephants stacked on top of each other. Its entire body was covered in dark red scales, and its 4 thick legs supported its majestic body. Its crocodile tail gave off a metallic luster, and was 10 meters long. What was especially eye-catching were the 2 protrusions on its back, as if they were 2 mini volcanoes. As it breathed, 2 plumes of black smoke came out of the volcanoes, sometimes strong, sometimes weak. This lava crocodile is a 1,000-beast king. The risk of killing it is too high. Bai Ningbing's expression was solemn. On the 1,000-beast king's body, there was a wild rank 3 GU worm. Together with the beast king's strong physique, even a rank 3 peak stage GU master would have a hard time winning one-on-one. Riches come from danger. It is not easy to find a crocodile in the forest. The crocodile strength GU needs crocodile meat to feed, but it has already been consumed by more than half. Let's test it out first. Fang Yuan said. The lava crocodile group lived underground, and only the beast king had the ability to drill out of the ground to breathe in the fresh and moist air, and enjoy the scorching sun. Bai Ningbing gritted her teeth and stood up. Ever since she got the crocodile strength GU, she had been using it. Right now, her strength had increased greatly, but she was still a distance away from the power of a crocodile. The lava crocodile king was in a deep slumber. When Bai Ningbing was 50 steps away from it, it suddenly opened its scarlet gold eyes. Poochie. It slowly propped up its body, turned its head, and breathed out 2 streams of hot air from its nostrils. Bai Ningbing's expression was solemn. Even after activating the sky canopy GU, she could still feel a scorching aura assaulting her. She didn't take out the chainsaw golden centipede. Instead, she swung her hand and shot out a blood-colored crescent blade. The third advancement moonblade hit the lava crocodile's back, slicing off a few pieces of its thick armor and successfully enraging the lava crocodile king. It aimed at Bai Ningbing, opened its huge mouth, and spat out a dark red lava fireball. The lava fireball was the size of a millstone. Bai Ningbing did not dare to receive it and dodged it. Boom! The lava fireball drew a trajectory in the air and smashed into the mountain rock. Amidst the sound of the explosion, rocks flew everywhere, and flames flew everywhere. A small mushroom cloud rose into the sky and gradually dissipated. At the location of the explosion, there was a huge crater. Dark red lava flowed inside and outside the crater, gradually cooling down. Rank 3 lava explosion GU. Fang Yuan looked at this scene and immediately understood in his heart. Half an hour later, Fang Yuan threw a rope from the mountain wall and pulled Bai Ningbing up. The lava crocodile king roared a few times, but did not pursue. After Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing's figures disappeared, it laid on the ground again, closing its eyes and enjoying the sunlight. This was because Bai Ningbing's attacks were mainly probing. The lava crocodile king did not feel that she was a threat. It only treated her as a wild beast that trespassed its territory and chased her away. This lava crocodile king has a total of 3 GU worms living in it. One is the lava explosion GU, one is the flame stomach GU, and the last is the accumulating ash GU. All 3 are rank 3 GU worms. Attack, defense, healing, the 3 most basic aspects are covered. After leaving the valley, Fang Yuan summarized on the way. Bai Ningbing frowned. She had personally probed earlier and knew that killing this crocodile king was extremely difficult, almost impossible. Forget about that lava explosion GU, the blood moon GU cannot break through the flame stomach goose defense. We can only use the chainsaw golden centipede to fight in close combat. But if we break through the flame stomach like this, the chainsaw golden centipede will be crippled. These days, we have used it to open a path, and its silver edges are already damaged. Even if we break through the flame stomach goose defense, the lava crocodile king still has the accumulating ash GU to heal itself. Its stamina is definitely more than both of us combined, and we will definitely lose if we fight a long battle. More importantly, it can drill into the ground and return to its nest. We have no ability to stop it from returning. Bai Ningbing said. Fang Yuan nodded. Your analysis is reasonable, but I want to kill it even more. The accumulating ash GU feeds on ashes, and is easy to raise. It is a very suitable healing GU worm for us. GU worms are good, but we need to be alive to enjoy them. You may have the young GU, but don't think of commanding me to risk my life to fight. Bai Ningbing snorted. We can't fight it with force, but we can outsmart it. If it were other wild beasts, it would be fine. But with this lava crocodile king, we can attract other beast kings and cause them to fight, then we can reap the benefits. Fang Yuan said. He did not want to give up because of the difficulty. Creating a possibility from the impossible was his favorite thing to do. If it were other fierce beasts on the surface, unless they had just migrated, they would have their own territory. They knew each other's existence, and there would be no hope of them fighting. But the lava crocodile king was different. Normally, it lived underground and would occasionally drill up to the surface to get some fresh air. It was like a fish in the deep sea, jumping out of the sea. Its existence was not known by other beast kings. It could only be considered a stowaway. Other than beast kings like the lightning lichen, most beast kings did not have high intelligence. As long as a beast king was attracted, they would feel a threat to their lives and start fighting. By the time both of them were heavily injured, Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing would be able to take advantage of the situation. Fang Yuan's words made Bai Ningbing's eyes brighten. She nodded. We don't have a movement GU, this method is still risky. But compared to fighting the lava crocodile king, there is a higher chance of success. We can give it a try. Similar to human society, wild beasts also had their own territories. Powerful beast kings often led herds of beasts and occupied areas with abundant natural resources. Like humans forming a mountain village and occupying a spirit spring. Between forces, there were bound to be borders. As long as they explored in other directions, they would naturally find something. For the next 5 days, Fang and Bai explored with the lava crocodile king as the center. The northwest direction was where they came from, so there was no need to explore further. Going around the valley, in the southeast direction, they found a white ape beast group. The leader was an old white ape, a 1000-beast king. The white ape's speed was very fast, and on the way, they would be caught and surrounded by the white apes. Thus, they immediately gave up on this plan. In the southwest direction, there was a rotting swamp with an overwhelming stench. This was the world of poisonous beasts. Venomous snakes coiled under the withered tree roots, fist-sized venomous bees fluttered around, and a black spider the size of a washbasin sat on a spiderweb that was as big as a piece of paper. From the center of the swamp, there was a frog's cry that sounded like thunder. Fang Yuan deduced that the master of this swamp was a healing Gu poison-swallowing frog. It was rank 4, small in size, and fed on poison. If a Gu master was poisoned, they could use it to swallow the poison, and it would have a healing effect. Its movement speed was not good, but to go deep into the swamp and lure it out was even harder. Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing did not have a healing Gu. If they were bitten by the poisonous beasts, it would be very troublesome. Moreover, it was very difficult to find a small poison-swallowing frog in such a huge swamp. The two finally found a beehive the size of a house in the northeast direction. Inside lived a terrifyingly large insect group, frenzy needle bees. This bee group was not to be trifled with. Once a frenzy needle bee becomes a Gu, its stinger would have the ability to pierce. That is to say, even if Bai Ningbing used the sky canopy Gu's white armor to protect herself, the rank 3 frenzy needle bees would still pierce through. The night wind howled. The wind entered the cave, causing the bonfire in the cave to flicker. This was a small mound, and they found a cave inside. This cave's location was not ideal. Firstly, it was not facing away from the wind, and the wind blew straight into the cave, bringing with it a deep chill at night. Secondly, the roof of the cave was open, like a patio, and one could see the stars in the night sky. Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing were silent, sitting around the bonfire. Fang Yuan was expressionless, while Bai Ningbing sighed in disappointment. We have explored the surroundings these days, and although your idea is good, there is no suitable target. It seems we can only give up on the lava crocodile king. Man proposes, God disposes. We do not have enough strength, and can only rely on luck. Forget it, I wanted to raise the crocodile strength Gu. But now, it seems that killing the lava crocodile king is not realistic. We will set off tomorrow, and continue towards Bai Gu Mountain. Fang Yuan nodded helplessly. But at this time, suddenly, the lava crocodile king's furious roar could be heard from outside. What's going on? It's that lava crocodile king. The two looked at each other, and immediately walked out of the cave, looking into the distance. They were killing the two of them. Although the frenzy needle wasp's nest was pushed down by the Shen Yuan divine pheasant and the most delicious part of the nest was eaten. But not many of the frenzy needle wasps were killed. The frenzy needle wasps could not cause any harm to the Shen Yuan divine pheasant. After the latter ate and drank to its heart's content, it did not waste any energy to kill these insignificant little things. The frenzy needle wasp's home was destroyed, and their intelligence was low, so they began to chase after the Shen Yuan divine pheasant. But after the Shen Yuan divine pheasant flew into the sky, they could not catch it, so they could only return to their nest and prepare to rebuild their home. Then they saw two youths standing in their home, eating their beehives. Under such circumstances, what was there to hesitate about? Their anger towards the Shen Yuan divine pheasant was completely transferred to Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing. At once, countless frenzy needle wasps flapped their wings, and like millions of raindrops, rapidly descended. Bai Ningbing was stunned. Still not running? Fang Yuan turned around and ran, spreading his legs. With this reminder, Bai Ningbing also turned around and chased after Fang Yuan. The frenzy needle wasps chased closely behind them. Fang Yuan ran in front, while Bai Ningbing fell behind. They did not have movement GU worms, and Bai Ningbing was quickly caught by the frenzy needle wasps. Bam bam bam! Bai Ningbing activated the sky canopy GU, and the white light armor shook. In an instant, he suffered over 1,000 attacks. The frenzy needle wasp stinger was like steel and iron, very hard. Together with their high speed, they were no less than a rain of arrows. The huge quantity caused a qualitative change. Bai Ningbing's primeval C continued to fall. The frenzy needle wasp's attacks could not be underestimated. What was more troublesome was that several of the frenzy needle wasps had already become GU. The rank 3 frenzy needle wasps had the ability to penetrate, and even the sky canopy GU could not defend against it. Bai Ningbing's back soon had several bloody holes, causing her to groan in pain. Her running speed was stimulated, and she actually broke through her usual limits. Bai Ningbing had never thought that one day, she would be able to run so fast on foot. Mountain rocks and trees seemed to be crashing towards her. She had no choice but to focus all her attention. Once she tripped on something, the frenzy needle wasps would immediately surround her. Under the group attack, she would definitely die. With Bai Ningbing sharing the pressure, Fang Yuan's situation was much better. He activated his primeval essence and poured it into the back armor GU on his back. The skin on his back was uneven, and slightly bulged, turning into a thick and hard crocodile skin armor. Ordinary frenzy needle wasps could not hit the crocodile skin armor. As for the few BGU, they were all attracted to Bai Ningbing. After running for another 7 minutes, the frenzy needle wasps were still in hot pursuit. Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing were panting, and their speed started to slow down. "We're saved, there's a lake in front." As the situation became more dangerous, Fang Yuan suddenly shouted. Bai Ningbing was overjoyed. The trees gradually became fewer, and a blue and white watery light appeared, mixed in with the green color, increasing in number. The two rushed out of the forest, and a lake appeared in front of them. Fang Yuan did not hesitate, and with a splash, he jumped into the lake. Bai Ningbing followed closely behind. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The frenzy needle wasps locked onto them, and also shot into the water. The white armor on Bai Ningbing's body shook intensely, and in an instant, she suffered a large number of attacks. She bit her lips in pain, and her hands paddled, trying her best to dive deeper into the water. Chapter 213. The lake was calm, reflecting the blue sky and white clouds. Having just escaped
Even
the
if we
frenzy
manage
needle
to keep our
pursuit,
lives,
Fang
we will
Yuan
suffer
and Bai
losses.
Ningbing's mood was
Moreover,
heavy.
even
In
if we
front of
defeat
them,
her in
there
the
was a
end,
trace
she will
indicating that
definitely
someone
have
had
started
started
a
a fire
fire
to
to
roast
get
meat
nothing
and
at this
destroy
location.
all the GU
Earth
worms in her
communication,
hands.
ear
A
grass.
GU master
Fang Yuan
only needs a
willed,
thought
and
to destroy
ginseng
their
roots
own
grew
GU
out of his
worms.
ears.
We don't have any targeted
dropped
methods
down
and
if we
rooted
kill
into
her.
the ground,
We won't be able
causing
to get
Fang
her GU
Yuan's
worms.
hearing to increase
So what's
sharply.
the point?
After
Bai
listening
Ningbing
for a while,
frowned slightly.
his expression
Earlier,
relaxed. They were
not
on guard
discovering
against
anyone
this demonic
hiding in the
GU master
surroundings.
because they were afraid
Then,
of her
he
sneak
walked
attack
up to the
and
remains
to
of the
protect
bonfire
themselves.
and reached
But
out
when
to
the
rub
two of
the
them
ashes.
discovered this
He
demonic
did not
GU
let go
master's
of any
true
other
strength,
clues.
their
This
intentions
bonfire
naturally
was
changed.
started half
He
a
would
month
kill
ago.
this weak
The
demonic
person was
GU
alone
master
and should
and
not
obtain
be
her
nearby.
GU worms to
After a
strengthen
while,
himself. Fang
there were
Yuan
many types
reported
of
the
wild
results of
GU
his
worms,
investigation,
but there were too
alone,
few that were suitable
clan
and
GU
easy to
masters
feed.
travel in
The
groups
GU
of at
worms
least
on a
5
GU
people.
master's body
It
would
seems this
definitely be
person is a
carefully
demonic
selected by
GU
their owner,
master,
and would
Bai
definitely
Ningbing
consider
frowned,
all aspects.
sighing.
If
If
they
it
could
was a
get
clan
it,
GU
it would be
master,
much more
they were
reliable
all
than
righteous,
capturing wild
and there was a
GU
possibility
worms.
of interaction.
But very few people
If it was
could
a
take all
demonic
the
GU
GU
master
worms after
once
killing
they
the
met,
enemy.
it would be
Other
a battle.
than the losses during
Such a
battle,
scene was not
the GU
because
master
righteous
could
people
make
are
the
usually
GU
kind,
worms
while
self-destruct
demonic
with just
people
a
are
thought.
evil.
Many
But when they
defeated
are
people,
alone,
as
they
long
would
as they
show
had
their
enough
true
time
nature.
to react,
In the
would not leave
wilderness,
their
there
GU
were no
worms for their
restrictions,
enemies.
so they could
It
act
was not
without
hard
worries.
to kill this demonic
Righteous
GU
masters
but it was not
usually
easy
travel
to
in
take
groups.
all the GU worms
Thus,
on her body.
when dealing with
Don't
matters,
you have a
they
plunder
would consider
GU?
the opinions
Bai
of the people
Ningbing
around
suddenly
them
asked.
and act closer
A
to the
plunder
normal
GU
social
has
norms.
too little effect.
Demonic GU
It can
masters
deal with wild
usually
beasts,
travel alone,
but against
with
a
high
GU
vigilance
master,
and a
there
strong
are
sense
harsh
of
conditions
danger.
to succeed.
Without anyone to
Fang
rely
Yuan
on,
shook his
they
head.
would first
Bai
ensure their own
Ningbing
safety.
suddenly thought of
This
something
was not good
and
news
said
for
worriedly,
Fang Yuan
if we
and
leave
Bai
like this,
Ningbing, we might
if
end
they
up
met a
overreaching
righteous clan
ourselves
GU
and let her
master,
escape easily.
they could still avoid
What should we
fighting.
do? But if they
Fang
met a
Yuan
demonic
laughed
GU
and
master
said with a firm tone,
battle was
in the short
unavoidable.
term, she will
Unless
not
they
escape.
showed great strength,
Righteous GU
causing
masters,
the demonic GU
no matter
master
if it was
to
a
cower
clan
in
inheritance
fear.
or a sect.
However,
They would
GU
go through a
masters
certain
who could
level
travel
of
alone in
nurturing
the wilderness
and have higher
were mostly
qualities.
rank 4,
But
and had
demonic
special
GU
methods.
masters were often
How many
mixed in
weaklings
good and
could there
bad.
be?
Some
But
were
Fang
traitors
Yuan
of the
and Bai
righteous
Ning
path,
Bing,
fugitives.
one was a rank 3
These
rookie,
people had gone
while
through
the other
training
was a rank
and had
1
the
initial
foundation
stage.
of a GU master.
Without sufficient
And some were
comprehensive
farmers,
GU
hunters,
who had
walking in
opened
the
their
forest
aperture
could
by
be said to
chance
be
and
difficult,
obtained some
with
inheritance
dangers everywhere.
and could be
If
considered
he
to
met
have
a
become a
demonic
GU master halfway
master,
through
he
their
would
training.
definitely be in trouble.
This demonic female
Fortunately,
GU master,
we discovered
her
the traces
accents
of
coarse,
this bonfire
her battle
in
skills
advance.
are lacking,
Next,
and she does not have
don't
enough
rush
survival
blindly.
experience.
Take a rest
Every
first.
time she camped,
At the
she
very
would leave
least,
behind
treat
clear
the injuries
traces
on your body.
Even if
Fang
she was
Yuan
injured,
said.
she would
Bai
not
Ning
cover
Bing
such an
nodded.
important clue
With his
like
reminder,
blood.
she
I
felt
see
a
that
dull
her
pain
physique
in
is
her
rough
back.
and robust,
Fang
and she
Yuan
has big
summoned
hands
the
and
2-seater
feet,
flower,
but she was
took out
originally
some
a farmer.
bandages and herbs,
She only
and gave
obtained
most
of
of
them
them
to
to
Bai Ning
inheritance.
Bing.
The
Fang
carapace
Yuan
Gu's
continued
defensive
to
area
analyze
was small,
that explosion
and its
just now should have
practicality
been
was
caused
barely
by a rank 2
satisfactory.
grass GU
But this
that
time,
she buried in
it was a
advance,
great help
called
to Fang
charred thunder
Yuan.
potato.
Because Bai
No
Ning
matter
Bing
who stepped on
attracted the
it,
majority
there would
of the
be an
attacks.
explosion.
The wounds on
A
Fang
farmer,
Yuan's body
how much
were
knowledge
negligible.
can she have?
Fang Yuan
She was
quickly
poisoned
took
by
care
the
of his own
python,
matters,
and with
no
rushed
way to
over
deal
to
with
help
it.
Bai Ning
Her
Bing.
injuries became
Bai
more
Ning
and more
Bing
serious.
took off her clothes,
Her heart
revealing
was filled with
finger-sized
fear
bloody
and no
holes
sense of
all over her
security.
back.
So she
It was a
subconsciously
ghastly
planted
sight.
many charred thunder
Frenzy
potato
Needle
GU at the
was a
entrance of the
rank 3
cave.
GU.
If we
They were
force
numerous
her,
and
she
had
will
the
do
ability
something
to penetrate.
extreme. But
It
taking
countered
the
the sky
initiative to
canopy
leave
GU,
can let her breathe
but
a sigh of
fortunately
relief,
Bai Ning
and
Bing had used
temporarily
the
calm
ice
her
muscles GU
emotions.
before.
She will
The two
definitely
layers of
suspect
defense
if we
combined
really left
to protect her life.
Going out is dangerous,
Hiss,
and she
Bai
might
Ning
bump
Bing
into
gritted
us.
her teeth,
And those
taking in a
charred
deep
thunder
breath
potato
from time to
GU
time
gave her a
enduring
huge
the
sense
pain
of
of treating her
security.
injuries.
So in the short
After a
term,
while,
she will
the
not
injuries
leave.
were treated.
Bai Ning Bing was
Fang Yuan
expressionless,
placed the empty
listening
medicine
quietly,
jar and the remaining
even though
bandages
she was
back
very
into the
unwilling.
two-seater
She had
flower.
to admit
There
that
isn't
Fang
much
Yuan's
medicine
analysis
left,
was
and
extremely
so are the
reasonable
bandages.
and penetrating.
Even though we
She
have
could
been
not
frugal,
compare.
we have
Your
reused
analysis
the
is
bandages
correct,
as much as
but
possible.
she has snake venom in her body, and dragging it out is not a solution. She will eventually walk out of the cave. Bai Ning Bing retorted. Fang Yuan nodded, pointing at his right ear. So, we need to monitor her. His earth communication eargrass, although only rank 2, had a detection range comparable to many rank 3 GU worms. Bai Ning Bing shook her head. This move of yours has its drawbacks. Activating the earth communication eargrass consumes prime val essence continuously. Even if you have the heavenly essence treasure lotus and can replenish your prime val essence, a person's energy is limited. However, a person's energy was limited. They needed rest and sleep. You can't possibly keep eavesdropping, right? Facing such a question, Fang Yuan rolled his eyes. When did you become stupid? The other party is only one person, but we have 2. GU worms could be borrowed, and the 2 of them could use the earth communication eargrass alternately, taking turns to rest. Bai Ning Bing's expression froze, and her eyes flashed with embarrassment. Damn it. Such a simple question, how can I not understand it myself? She gritted her teeth, blaming herself for making such a low-level mistake. Fang Yuan laughed in his heart. In the end, Bai Ning Bing did not want to see Fang Yuan surpass her, so she subconsciously wanted to refute Fang Yuan, but ended up losing sight of the other and losing her footing. Fang Yuan was happy to see such a retort, because every time Bai Ning Bing failed in her rebuttal, he would be convinced by Bai Ning Bing. This kind of submission was minuscule, and it was a subtle influence. Even Bai Ning Bing herself could not feel it. By the time she came to her senses one day, she would have already been used by Fang Yuan unknowingly. To Fang Yuan, the demonic female GU master was only one of his targets, and Bai Ning Bing was the second. Chen Kui Hua was terrified. She was originally a peasant woman who accidentally fell into a hole in the ground when she was plowing the soil. In the cave, she found a corpse, and without knowing it, she obtained the inheritance and became a GU master. GU master. Chen Kui Hua could never have imagined that one day, she would become a high and mighty GU master. But after a short period of joy, she was met with misfortune. A mountain leopard as big as a cow, with a green whirlwind around it, attacked her village. The entire village died, and she was chased by the leopard, using her GU worms to escape. After wandering in the wild for half a year, the GU worms she had were getting lesser and lesser. Finally, recently, she met a green giant python.
Although she killed the python, she was poisoned. Especially today, she had encountered 2 GU masters. This was already her 3rd time meeting GU masters. The previous 2 times taught her a painful lesson, and taught her to protect herself. But she was still a half-baked GU master, and lacked the foundation of a GU master. Thinking of the battle earlier, Chen Kui-hua panicked. She was not that girl's match. Luckily, she had buried many charred thunder potato GU. Luckily, that boy was cowardly and chose to leave. Chen Kui-hua saw their figures disappear into the forest, and heaved a sigh of relief. But she could not be sure that they had really left. Her investigative GU allowed her to see everything within 350 steps. The degree of clarity was as if it was right in front of her. But she did not have X-ray vision. Let's wait. After 3 more days, I will go out. Chen Kui-hua thought to herself. Now, she had learned to be cautious and patient. On the roof of the clan leader pavilion, 2 people stood. One was a middle-aged man, his expression was cold as steel, but his eyes hid some gentleness. Standing beside him was a young girl, her gaze sad but firm. It was Tai Ruo Nan. You have only returned for a few days. But this is already the 19th time you are asking for my resignation. Your father's death made me extremely sad. You lost your mother when you were young, and now your father, but you must remember, you still have me as your uncle. You are my niece, I will not let you take the risk. Tai family's patriarch sighed. Tai Ruo Nan's gaze was burning. She looked straight at Tai clan leader. Uncle, do you know? Although father is gone, I feel happy for him in my sorrow. Father's life was determined to eradicate evil, to punish criminals. He did it, even when he was injured, he did not retreat. He persevered, walking his own path. And now, it is time for me to continue. Tai clan leader was dazed. At this moment, he saw Tai Xuelung's shadow on Tai Ruo Nan. So similar, these eyes, this gaze. In a daze, Tai clan leader seemed to have returned to his youth. Tai Xuelung was standing beside him, staring at the demon suppression tower at the peak of the mountain, saying resolutely, I will kill all the criminals in the world, and let the world be filled with justice and love. I will imprison all the demonic path members in the demon suppression tower. Even if I fill the demon suppression tower to the brim, the vow of the past was still ringing in his ears. But his best friend was no longer around. The eyes in front of him merged together. Tai clan leader shook his head, dispelling the memories. He looked at the stubborn girl in front of him with a gaze that was filled with admiration and love, worry and encouragement. The path you've chosen is the path you've chosen. It is not easy to walk on. Tai Ruo Nan did not reply, but turned to look at the mountain peak. At the highest point of Wn Cheng Mountain, there was a majestic iron tower. It had a majestic aura, as if it could hold up the sky, stepping on the tall mountains. White clouds were like fog, coiling around it, causing it to look blurry to outsiders. It added a layer of mystery to it. This tower was not only a grand sight in southern border, it was famous in the world. Even in central continent, many people had heard of it. Demon Suppression Tower. The tower was 1,000 feet tall, with close to 100 floors. The tower was simple and unadorned. It was majestic and full of vicissitudes, giving off a righteous aura. Ever since it was built, Tai clan GU masters had imprisoned many demonic GU masters inside. Hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands. Even Tai clan leader might not know. It was the symbol of the righteous path, the deepest pride of Tai clan GU masters. Many demons and demonic heirs buried their ambitions here, leaving behind sorrow, regret, unwillingness and regret. Demonic GU masters would turn pale when talking about it, while righteous GU masters would be exhilarated when talking about it. Tai Ruo Nan spoke with a firm tone, as if talking to Tai clan leader, or to herself. There is a demon suppression tower at the peak of Wn Cheng Mountain. I also have a demon suppression tower in my heart. Father did not finish walking this path, so let me take his place and continue walking it. I can't hold on anymore. Chen Kui Hua felt dizzy, her vision blurred, and she felt nauseous from time to time, wanting to vomit. But she could not vomit, her whole body was weak, and waves of fatigue assaulted her. Her original plan was to hold on for 3 days, but after 1 day, she knew she was too optimistic. The harm the snake venom brought to her was getting worse. She knew she was forced into a cliff, and had to find a healing GU worm as soon as possible. Damn it. If not for those 2 thieves, I might have already caught wild GU worms and cured the snake venom. She was restless. Ever since she was poisoned, she had been trying to find a healing GU worm. But the vast forest was filled with danger, and she did not have any methods to catch worms, so she had no progress. Bai Ning Bing raised the dagger in her hand, about to cut her right ear. Wait. Fang Yuan stretched out his hand, grabbing her arm. The sharp blade was just inches away from Bai Ning Bing's right ear. To use the earth communication eargrass, she needed to cut off her right ear and replace it. It was just an ear, it was not a big deal. Compared to the huge harvest, Bai Ning Bing did not feel any pity. Demonic cultivators were vicious and merciless. They were vicious to others, but even more vicious to themselves. And it was these people who could give up that could accomplish great things. No need to cut it, she's out. Fang Yuan said, and started to move. He used the earth communication eargrass, and followed behind Chen Kui Hua. Not long later, he heard the sounds of fighting. The 2 stayed close to the lush shrubbery, sneaking closer. They saw this demonic female GU master fighting with a twin-headed boar. After watching for a while, the 2's eyes shone with excitement. Chen Kui Hua's condition was terrible, her battle strength had dropped by more than half. As for this twin-headed boar, it was a solitary 100-beast king, possessing a defensive GU. This will be a battle of attrition, we can take advantage of it. She really buried a charred thunder potato GU. Strange. This GU master has fought for so long, but her primeval essence has not been used up yet. Looks like she has some support GU, like Heavenly Essence Treasure Lotus, Fish Bubble GU and so on. After watching for a while, Fang Yuan felt that the time had come, and called out the Stealth Scales GU, handing it to Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing nodded in understanding. She hid her body, and quietly approached. Bam! With a loud explosion, the twin-headed boar stomped another charred thunder potato GU. This time, it completely collapsed and could no longer get up. It fell on the ground, struggling continuously. A hole was blasted in its stomach. Its intestines slowly flowed out. Fresh blood flowed out. This damned boar, its skin is really thick. It exploded for so long before it died. Chen Kui Hua breathed roughly, leaning on the tree trunk, her vision turning black. This fierce battle had left her completely powerless, and she was overwhelmed by extreme fatigue. The fear in her heart supported her, not letting her faint. I can't. I need to hurry back to the cave. If I faint in the wild, it's too dangerous. She was about to attack. Suddenly, she heard a strong wind sound. Strange, why is there wind? This was her last question in life. Bai Ningbing patiently approached him step by step, her attacks as fast as lightning. He used the boar's death, and the demonic female GU master's relaxed state of mind to kill her in one strike. Chen Kui Hua's head was crushed by the chainsaw golden centipede. It was smashed into pieces. The headless body fell to the ground with a thud. Got it. Fang Yuan laughed heartily, walking over quickly. Bai Ningbing had already squatted down, her mind entering Chen Kui Hua's aperture, and said with some disappointment, there are only 3 GU in the aperture. GU worms refined by GU masters were somewhat stiff, not as agile as wild GU worms. The demonic female GU master was already dead. The aperture walls gradually darkened, but these 3 GU were still inside. But this was not a problem for Fang Yuan. Plunder GU. He willed, and easily took out these 3 GU. They were a rice bag grass GU and an iron thorn bramble GU. And a charred thunder bean mother GU. Of course these were not all. Fang Yuan searched for a while, and found a hairy leg GU and a jumping grass GU on the demonic female GU master's leg. Finally, he found a bookworm in her mangled brain matter. But unfortunately, this bookworm had already been killed by Ningbing in one strike. This bookworm should be an inheritance item. The contents inside helped her learn many things about GU masters. There must be some secret recipes and so on. Fang Yuan said regretfully. Forget about the bookworm. This demonic GU master actually doesn't have a healing GU? Bai Ningbing was disappointed. Fang Yuan was silent, not saying a word. No healing GU. He had expected this result. The demonic female GU master was affected by the snake venom. If she had a healing GU, even if it was not sterilized, she would not be in such a sorry state. What he was curious about was, in the battle earlier, the demonic female GU master's performance was very strange. Especially in terms of primeval essence, her recovery speed surpassed a grade, comparable to the 10 extreme physiques. But she was not one of the 10 extreme physiques, and only had a grade aptitude. The GU she collected did not help her recover her primeval essence. So this is how the chest is wrapped. At this time, Bai Ningbing opened the demonic female GU master's chest wrapping cloth. Fang Yuan's gaze focused, seeing a silver triangular tattoo on the corpse's chest. It's third watch GU. Fang Yuan was surprised. Third watch GU, what is that? Bai Ningbing raised her brows and asked. This GU is rank 5, and can speed up time by 3 times. It can only be used once, and is a consumable type GU. When it is used on a GU master, it will form this silver triangular tattoo on their chest. Soon after, Fang Yuan explained in detail. Third watch GU, when used on a GU master, can speed up this GU master's personal time by 3 times. The river of time surged and flowed at the same speed. To a normal person, 1 day was 1 day. But to a person affected by the third watch GU, 1 day was equivalent to 3 days of condensed time. Chen Kui Hua, who was affected by the third watch GU, would definitely have rapid cultivation progress. Others would spend a day nurturing their aperture, but she would spend 3 days nurturing it. The cultivation effect was obvious. There was another huge benefit, and that was the prime val essence recovery speed. On her body, the river of time flowed faster, 3 times faster than normal people. Thus, the prime val essence recovery speed was also 3 times faster. This was also why, in the battle earlier, her prime val essence recovery speed shocked Fang Yuan and Bai Ning Bing. However, in balance, there are advantages and disadvantages. Third watch GU had such huge benefits, but it also had huge disadvantages. First, the biggest disadvantage was the loss of lifespan. When the time flowed faster by 3 times, one's lifespan would be greatly shortened, reduced to a third of the original. Chen Kui Hua had received the inheritance for less than a year, but to her, it was 2 to 3 years. Secondly, any injuries that needed time to heal would worsen. Chapter 216. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. In the aperture, the waves rose and fell continuously, crashing against the aperture walls. The waves were emerald green, the waves surging endlessly. This was a rank 1 initial stage prime val essence. Rank 1 GU masters possessed green copper prime val essence. Initial stage was emerald green, middle stage was pale green, upper stage was dark green and peak stage was dark green. The surrounding aperture walls shone brightly, and under the impact of the emerald green waves, its foundation increased bit by bit. Suddenly, the white light shone brightly, before dimming. The white light condensed, forming a water-like ripple. At this moment, the aperture wall's light film deepened into a water film. Done. I've finally advanced from rank 1 initial stage to middle stage. A faint sense of joy rose in Fang Yuan's heart. Initial stage GU Masters aperture walls were light films, while middle stage was water films. Once the water film was formed, it meant that Fang Yuan's cultivation had returned to rank 1 middle stage. It has been over 20 days since I killed that demonic female GU master. During this period, I cultivated day and night without stopping, not wasting a single moment. It is not strange for my cultivation to advance to middle stage. Fang Yuan slowly opened his eyes. What a pity, if I had a liquor worm, my speed would be even faster. The liquor worm could raise a rank 1 GU master's prime val essence by a small realm. Using the liquor worm to assist in cultivation could achieve twice the result with half the effort. After Fang Yuan's rebirth, other than the spring-autumn cicada, the first thing he obtained was the liquor worm. Afterwards, he bought another one from the caravan, and refined the 2 into the 4-flavor liquor worm. Unfortunately, the 4-flavor liquor worm was only effective for rank 2 GU masters, and was of no help to the current Fang Yuan. In fact, Fang Yuan had obtained 3 liquor worms on Qing Maro Mountain. The third was the spoils of war he obtained from killing Guez Yarrow Le. This liquor worm had been in Fang Yuan's hands, until the Tai father and daughter came to Qing Maro Mountain. To prevent being exposed and fearing Tai Shuelung's detection methods, he destroyed the liquor worm and the other spoils of war. Things had already happened. Whether his actions were right or wrong, since Fang Yuan had done it, he had never regretted it. Right now, if he kept the liquor worm in his hand, it would certainly be of help to him. But at least during the entire process, the father and daughter of the Tai family didn't find out about Guez medicine. If I reverse refine the 4 flavors liquor worm, I will be able to obtain a first revolution liquor worm. Unfortunately, there are many requirements for reverse refining, and I can't meet them yet. GU Masters nurture GU, use GU, refine GU. GU refinement was divided into fusion refinement and reverse refinement. Fusion was to raise a low-rank GU worm to a high-rank GU worm. Reverse refinement was the exact opposite. There were many ways to reverse refine the 4 flavors liquor worm. He could use the prodigal son GU to obtain 2 rank 1 liquor worm. Or he could use the revert GU, but this method could only get 1 liquor worm. If he used butterfly transformation GU, he would obtain the eerie chi butterfly. If he used unpredictable GU, the GU worm he obtained would be uncertain. It might even be a completely new GU worm. To Fang Yuan, the best solution was to get the prodigal son GU. But the prodigal son GU was much more precious than the liquor worm, it was too difficult to obtain. The most practical solution was still the revert GU. If he used the revert GU, he would lose a liquor worm. But Fang Yuan would still choose to do it without hesitation. Keeping the 4 flavors liquor worm and using it after he reached rank 2 was under a stable situation. Right now, Fang Yuan was in a precarious situation, wandering from place to place. Survival was the most important thing. And the faster his cultivation, the higher his chances of survival. Squeak, 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 outside the cave, monkey cries could be heard, as well as footsteps. Fang Yuan's ears twitched, he was very familiar with these footsteps. Sure enough, not long after, Bai Ningbing appeared in front of Fang Yuan. His whole body was covered in a layer of thorny clothing. This special robe was completely made up of dark green vines and sharp black wooden thorns. While it gave Bai Ningbing a defensive effect, it could also be used as an attack. To those who fought barehanded, these wooden thorns that were as hard as steel would leave a deep impression on them. This layer of thorny clothing was formed from the iron thorn bramble GU. After Bai Ningbing killed the demonic female GU master, he had his eyes on this rank 3 grass GU. He asked for it and refined it into his vital GU. So troublesome. Every time I enter the cave, I have to be so careful. That charred thunder potato GU, can't you bury less of it? He grumbled as he stared at his feet, sometimes jumping, sometimes striding, cautiously avoiding some spots. It's better to be safe than sorry. Fang Yuan replied indifferently, before looking at Bai Ningbing's waist. On his waist hung a string of monkeys. These monkeys were small, the biggest was no bigger than an arm's length. They had round heads, and their bodies were covered in fine and thick black fur, glossy and shining. What was most eye-catching was the leaves growing on their waists. These green leaves formed a circle and connected into one, covering the monkey's hips and butt. It looked exactly like a grass skirt. These monkeys were the grass skirt monkeys. The grass skirt monkeys were delicious, and these days, Bai Ningbing and Fang Yuan had been eating them. The captured grass skirt monkeys also realized what was going to happen next. They struggled with all their might, but it was useless. The entire cave echoed with their shrill and panicked cries. Looking at the time, it was lunchtime. Roast them, I'm a bit hungry. Bai Ningbing rubbed her stomach, throwing the strung-up grass skirt monkeys on the ground. I'll deal with them first, you can roast them. The meat you roast is much better than mine. She squatted down, about to kill the monkeys. Fang Yuan stopped her. Today, I'll teach you a new way to eat them. Immediately, he hooked his finger, and a blood light flew out of Bai Ningbing's aperture. The blood light landed on Fang Yuan's hand, turning into a blood moon mark. It was the blood moon GU. In Fang Yuan's palm, a faint red glow appeared. Although the blood moon GU was a rank 3 GU, Fang Yuan did not use it to attack, thus he could barely control it. Bai Ningbing did not know what Fang Yuan was planning, but her blue eyes stared without blinking. She saw Fang Yuan stretch out his hand, lifting up one of the grass skirt monkeys.